You're listening to Football Friday Night on demand exclusively on 600 ESPN El Paso. Stay up to date with high school football scores, updates, and news by downloading the free 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app.
Oh, yeah, beautiful Week 9, October night here in the Borderland for some high school football. If you saw tonight's sunset, you know it feels like high school football. This is a fantastic night, and boy, we've got some great games. I'm Bo Bagley, your host for tonight, alongside the Sultan of Stats, Paul McKinnon, and producer Angel Munoz. Excited to be back after off last week. Paul and Adrian did a great job from that Pebble Hills Franklin game. I got to tell you, Pebble Hills Montwood, what a game last week as Pebble Hills beat Montwood 16-14, and then we got a huge game today. Talk about 6A topsy-turvy. Yep, the Coronado T-Birds upset the America's Trailblazers 28-24 today at the Student Activities Complex. A huge win for the T-Birds. America's drops to 4-3 in 6A, and topsy-turvy once again. Once again, excited to be here for our 915 Tours Game of the Week. We'll get out to Steve Escajeda in just a moment. It's Canutillo at Chapin. Both teams undefeated in 5A in their district. Both 5-2 overall, and they're going to be going at it over at Irvin Memorial Stadium. Should be a great game there. Paul, if we bring you in here, we're talking about Canutillo and Chapin. And you got your started last night, the Eastwood-Montwood game, but Canutillo-Chapin, real quick, we'll get into that game a little bit. Canutillo-Chapin, your initial thoughts?
The thing that kind of excites me, brand new player back for Canutillo, Eddie Carrillo. I think he was their best player of all that good crop of sophomores from a year ago. Carrillo was the best. Remember, he was a starting cornerback as a freshman. He won that job in the scrimmage. I think they scrimmaged Franklin. He looked great. So Scott Brooks said, hey, this guy's not going anywhere. And he hasn't gone anywhere except for the broken collarbone coming into the season. He's been out until a week ago. Couple of tackles, and actually caught a touchdown in garbage time a week ago, 43-yard touchdown pass. And I think that's what he was going to wind up doing a lot more of for Canutillo. On the offensive side of the ball, got some reps last year, more than usual, more than ever, and I think it was even going to be bigger this year. And now that he's back, nice to see him on the field. They can already throw the ball a little bit. And then you have Rene Huerta and Jeremiah Knox, and they've even been using Matt Goska direct snaps, for the short yardage stuff. To effect. On the other side, you have Chapin with all that talent. Savion Jordan, I caught them last week against Burgess. Didn't play. I hear we're hearing he's gone. Steve Escajeda's going to have an update on that, I think. But dripping in talent. Davion Singleton made a move for a 40 little bubble. He was playing receiver. Sometimes he plays quarterback. Little bubble screen. He made like 3 moves on some Burgess defenders. Went 42 yards. It's just something you don't get to see every day. And yeah, phenomenal athlete, and they have a bunch of them. So I think it's the athletes on offense of Chapin versus what's always a good Canutillo D.
Very much so, and both of these teams started the season a little bit slow, but really finding their stride right now. Last week, Canutillo defeated Andress 58-7. Meanwhile, Chapin defeated Burgess 42-7. So both teams playing well on offense and defense. And now time for our 915 Tours Game of the Week preview. Let's head out to Irvin Memorial Stadium and join Steve Escajeda with a preview. Steve.
Thanks a lot, guys. We've already got 9:37 left to go in the opening quarter, and Canutillo has just scored on we'll call it a 75-yard touchdown pass. Quarterback Knox hitting Eduardo Carrillo on a full stride first play of the ball game. That puts Canutillo up 6-0, and Chapin did get the ball first. They got it all the way down to the Canutillo 17-yard line. On a 4th and 2, they went for it. Singleton, the quarterback, kept it, didn't make it. He was stopped short, and Canutillo was answered just like that. So it's 7-0. The kick is good. 9:37 left to go here in the first quarter. This game tonight, a battle for first place in District 1-5A, Division 1. Both Canutillo and Chapin come into the ball game with identical records, 2-0 in the league, 5-2 overall. And both teams come into this game hot. I mean, they're each on a 3-game winning streak, but it's how they're doing it. Canutillo has outscored their last 3 opponents 123-14, while Chapin has outscored them 140-7. So they both come in playing really good football. Chapin's got a little bit of revenge on their minds in that they've lost the last 2 games to Canutillo the last 2 years by resounding scores of 26-0 and 34-13. And in one of these proverbial something you got to give kind of games, again, Canutillo's defense against Chapin's offense. Over the last 5 games, Canutillo has held their opponents in 4 of those last 5 games to single digits, while during those 5, Chapin has scored at least 42 points in every one of them. So again, it's going to be a battle of one team's defense against another team's scoring, and we'll see how it comes out tonight. But again, Canutillo scoring early on a long touchdown pass, and that's kind of surprising. They only average about 85 yards a game through the air, and they've already matched that on almost on one play. So 9:37 left to go here at Irvin Stadium. It is Canutillo 7, Chapin nothing.
All right, that's our world traveler, Steve Escajeda, with the report. Steve, thank you so much. As you just heard, Canutillo fires quick, 70-yard touchdown pass from Jeremiah Knox. Gets it started fast.
Yeah, Eddie Carrillo gets on my Christmas list, too. So right after we speak of him, 75-yard TD. By the way, not the only one scoring down to Riverfront Stadium. Another good one, the 1-4A, probably top 2 teams. Maybe Bowie with 6 straight wins would argue, but Austin at Riverside. Riverside already on the board. The quarterback, Derek Vasquez, a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Rangers up 7-0 early in that one.
Another score that we have from you is head down to Clint, 6 p.m. kickoff. Clint hosting Pecos, big district game there. Pecos is up in the second quarter, 10-7 over the Clint Lions. Both teams are 3-4 overall, 1-1 in district. We're going to go to our Ignitify local scoreboard, run down all of our games all over the borderland tonight. Once again, in our 915 Tours game of the week, we have Canutillo against Chapin over at Irvin Memorial Stadium. As we just heard from Steve Escajeda, Canutillo stroke first. They're up 7-0. We have a late game over at Franklin's Cougar Stadium. Brandon Cohn tells us Pebble Hills bus was delayed, so Pebble Hills at Franklin will now kick off at 7:30. Brandon Cohn, the Iceman, will be on the call for that one. Should be a lot of fun there. And then we have Bel Air at Parkland, another big district game right there between the Highlanders and the Matadors. Adrian Tellez will be on the call for that one. Let's head over to Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Joey Panisi on the call here. Well, can Hanks' high-flying offense under Scott Valise keep up with the Del Valle Conquistadors? That should be a fun one. Del Valle coming in rolling, 6-1 overall, 2-0 in district. Meanwhile, Hanks has really turned things around from last year. They're now 5-2, 1-1 in district. And as we just said, we heard from Paul McKinnon right now, the Riverside Rangers already lead the Austin Panthers 7-0 in the first. Both teams undefeated in district. J.D. Sursley on the call at Tom Work Field at Riverfront Stadium. Riverside hosting the Austin Panthers. Bill Kuhn over at R.R. Jones Stadium, El Paso High Tigers, hosting the Burgess Mustangs. Burgess surprisingly winless on the season. Meanwhile, El Paso so close and shocking Andress just 2 weeks ago. They're 3-4, 1-1 in district. Should be an interesting one there at R.R. Jones Stadium. Let's head out to Andress Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. Jerry Alvarez on the call as Andress hosts Jefferson tonight. Jefferson, along with Burgess, surprisingly winless so far this season. Andress coming in struggling a little bit, but 1-1 in district. We'll see what happens there. Once again, Jerry Alvarez on the call there. And we have a new guy, a rookie, Angel Torres, down at Emperor Stadium. The Horizon Scorpions hosting the Isleta Indians. Remember, Isleta got a really big win over the Riverside Rangers earlier this year. They're now 3-4 in the season, 1-1 in district. Meanwhile, Horizon just 1 win, and they're 0-2 in district. Should be a lot of fun. Those are our reporters. That's where we have all the action. Another fun one tonight, again at the Student Activities Complex. Coronado comes back, scores with 31 seconds to go. Coronado defeats Americus 28-24, and I think, Paul, you have some information on that game.
Yeah, I tried to keep track of it. Boy, did it ever get crazy late, but, seemed like a typical America's game late. Remember, the Trailblazers came into this one with 6 straight quarters of scoreless football. I mean, defensively. And remember, the first 2 quarters of that was the second half of the Eastwood game. Wound up losing that contest, but the Eastwood Trooper offense, which, by the way, we saw how explosive they were again last night in a terrific match against Monwood. I'd say the game of the year. We'll get to that in a second. But that Trailblazer defense was able to hold Eastwood scoreless for 24 minutes straight. Well, tonight they got on the board 7-0 little flea flicker action. Abdiel Rincon at the tag end of a 59-yard bomb from his quarterback, Matt Moore. And you might want to say, well, okay, it's over. Trailblazers aren't going to let him score. A couple of shutouts this year. Last week, El Dorado. And earlier in the year, Coach Noah Robles shut out his old team, Eastlake, 17-0. So this defense could play. But a little funky tip play. The Golden Kid made the catch, and that set him up in plus territory with 5:49 left. And that's when America's punched it in, a little roll pass. Actually, the defensive lineman, Bobby Anderson, they lined him up as linebacker. Old coach Bob Anderson, not he's old, just former coach. His kid, little flat route, makes the catch into the end zone for the 11-yard score. That got it to 7-6. But America's one more TD, Sadane Gomez-Scott, little 1-yard plunge after Anthony Miranda took a 19-yard bubble all the way down to the 2-yard line. Gomez punches it in. 14-6, America's had that lead at the half. And it was back and forth in the second half, but Coronado got the ball down 24-21 with under 2 minutes left in the contest and not the most prolific offense. Remember, their longtime quarterback, Owen Levesque, 3-year starter, he's been out again, injured in the Eastwood game. That's been a month already. He's still healthy enough to kick but can't quarterback. So that good wide receiver, the sophomore, Wilson, has been the QB. And the offense has had trouble moving the ball. Well, not this time, because he throws a deep ball, deep seam route. And Blake Randag, the one true playmaker that Coronado has, runs under it 51 yards later, hauled down at the 7-yard line. Couple of plays later, and Tom Murray, 2 yards out with 31 a direct snap. We talked about direct snaps, and Matt Goskett, Candiatillo. Well, Coronado must have seen the film. On the direct snap, 2 yards into the end zone, 31 seconds left, and Coronado holds on late. Unbelievable. One win in the district coming in, just 1-4. America's looking to clinch, their first playoff bid since 2019. And boy, do the T-Birds and head coach Mike Pry and Tom Murray really throw a monkey wrench into that one. They beat America's 28-24. America's now falls to 4-3. Out of that four-way tie for what was it? Second, third, and fourth place. Eastwood, of course, all alone after last night's victory, 48-41, I want to say, over Montwood. So a whole gaggle of folks, 4-4-team tie for second, effectively.
Yeah, and we'll get to our Ignitify local scoreboard in just a moment, but let's talk about 6A right now. That drops Americas to 4-3. Now, you have Eastwood has already clinched a share of the district title. They're 6-0 in district, followed by Pebble Hills now 4-2, Montwood 4-2, and Franklin at 3-2. Now, that makes that Franklin-Pebble Hills game huge right now, but dropping Americas falls to 4-3. Eastlake is also off on a bye this week. They're at 3-3.
Just sitting right behind them, right.
The loser of Franklin Pebble Hills will fall into a tie for possibly that last playoff spot.
With Eastlake, now with America's. Yeah, exciting as always. And by the way, we'll talk about 2-6A later, but a little crazy there as well. As you said, Eastwood just clinched a share, at least, of their second straight district title. The way it sits right now, small school, big school, I won't confuse too many people, but Eastwood, they're going to be the number one small seed, as usual, and they're going to wind up hosting a first-round game. If the playoffs started today, the way it sits in 2-6A, Midland Legacy, formerly Midland Lee, that would be the team.
Wow.
The second seed currently, and they're just hoping to hold on after Odessa Permian pulled a huge upset a week ago. And by the way, talk about a crazy district. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of that Odessa San Angelo Central game, 71-70, right. The final in that one. Mm-hmm. As I said, 2-6A, equally crazy as 1-6A,
yes.
But wow. Yeah, you just got to love football this time of year.
Absolutely. Right now, 6 teams vying for 4 playoff spots in 1-6A right now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, Brandon Cohn will be on the call for the Pebble Hills Franklin game. Once again, that's going to kick off at 7:30 p.m. due to a delay to the Spartans bus on their way to Franklin High School. Let's go to our Ignitify local scoreboard. Some more games all around in the area. Speaking of 6A, the late game at the Student Activities Complex, Socorro hosting El Dorado. Both teams really struggling on this season so far, winless. Both teams are. Let's go down to 4A, Bowie. We're just talking about Bowie and what they're doing this season. The Bowie Bears are 6-1, 1-0 in district, hosting the 1-win San Elizario Eagles. So if all goes well, if you're a Bowie Bears fan, Bowie should get on that and on track to possibly play Riverside for the district title. Boy, that would be a lot of fun. And speaking over on 4A, also, last week you had Fort Stockton taking on Monahans. Monahans put 59 points on Fort Stockton. Fort Stockton's a very good team, but Monahans looks like it's the class of that district. And now tonight, Fort Stockton hosts Mountain View. What a big game there. The Lobos still have a very tough challenge with Fort Stockton.
Yeah, and where is Monahans tonight? They are in our presence. Big Fabens gets to host Monahans tonight. Lucky them. Monahans is a juggernaut. As you said, Fort Stockton's terrific, and Monahans just handled them.
Absolutely. Last week's game between Monahans and Fort Stockton, 2 unbeatens. Monahans now 7-0, 2-0 in district, while Fabens comes in winless in district. We'll keep you updated on that score. Once again, Fort Stockton hosting Mountain View tonight. And at last check, Pecos led Clint 10-7 in the second quarter. Let's head up to the... Oh, you got something, Paul?
I was just going to say a couple of scores, Bo. Already we got hot action out there. Parkland Bel Air, big game, 2 teams sitting in second place. Fabian Cervantes, a 68-yard bomb into the end zone. Remember, Bel Air, 2 weeks ago, the entire district was on a bye last week, but 2 weeks ago, Bel Air, their first loss of the season, they were undefeated. Well, Parkland puts a quick 7 on them now, 7-0. Those teams, again, I think it's 4 teams tied with 1 loss in that district. Also, we mentioned Riverside, El Paso High, and Burgess, almost like a playoff elimination game. There are 4 teams fighting for probably the 2 final spots in the El Paso 1-5A district. And Amir Mata, a 14-yard catch. El Paso had a big win over Jefferson last week and already off to a good start here. They lead Burgess 6-0.
All right, Paul McKinnon, thank you so much. Other games we have on tap tonight. Up in the Land of Enchantment, Hobbs hosting Oregon Mountain. Roswell hosting Mayfield. Boy, Mayfield really in need of a district win. Instead, Roswell comes in 8-0, 1-0 in district. Centennial is traveling to Alamogordo. Remember, Las Cruces won last night over Carlsbad, 43-14. Las Cruces undefeated in district. Centennial, if they defeat Alamogordo tonight, they'll be undefeated in district, and they meet next week. Santa Teresa hosts Gadsden. Gadsden's on a roll, 6-2 overall, 1-0 in district. And meanwhile, Cathedral's taking on St. Michael's. Should be an interesting game. Cathedral 4-4 overall, St. Michael's at 6-2. Down Anthony hosting Sonora. Sonora undefeated. Could be a tough game for the Anthony Wildcats. Meanwhile, Tornillo travels to Crane. And what we're going to do, we got someone on the line. We're going to get to the Angel Munoz. Looks like we got a live update for you. Let's get an update to what we got. Once again, we got 8-9 reporters all around the borderland tonight, and we got a lot going on. But Angel's on the phone right now. What we're going to do is take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back with score updates from all over the borderland. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm Bo Bagley alongside Paul McKinnon. We're talking about our Ignitify local scoreboard. Ignitify, your AC installation service. Finding a trustworthy person to work on your AC might be difficult. Ignitify is here to help. They have over 20 years of experience in El Paso and a 5-star rating on Google. Don't take it from us. Call them today. Set up an appointment. Visit IgnifyEP.com to get started today. So our Ignitify local scoreboard, once again, our 915 Tours game of the week. Canutillo at Chapin. Canutillo leads it in the first quarter, 7-0. Pebble Hills is at Franklin. That's now a 7:30 p.m. kick. Hey, we got some live action over at Parkland's Matador Stadium as games now tied at 7, Parkland and Bel Air. That should really be a fun one. Riverside up early over Austin, 7-0 in the first.
Bo, that's gone to 13-7. No Ramirez, a 5-yard TD run as the Rangers are out to a good start in what could be the battle for that title in 1-4A.
Okay, Riverside putting up a 13 spot early in the first quarter. Burgess has come back to take a 1-point lead over El Paso High. In the first quarter, Burgess leads El Paso 7-6. Also, Isleta has scored first at Horizon. They lead 7-0 in the first. Also, Pecos and Clint, 10-7 Pecos over Clint in the second quarter. Let's head out to our 915 Tours game of the week. Join Steve Escajeda with an update at Irvin Memorial Stadium. Chapin hosting Canutillo. Steve.
We've got 1:18 to go here in the first quarter, and Chapin had just tied things up 7-7 on a 2-yard touchdown run by quarterback Davion Singleton. That drive was set up by a 94-yard run by Kerry Wade from his own 3 to the Canoteo 3. They did catch him before he could get into the end zone. And about a couple plays later, again, the quarterback Singleton scoring from 2 yards out to tie things up at 7-7. And so far in this ball game, it's all been Kerry Wade. He came into the game averaging 124 yards per contest. We're still a minute and change to go in the first quarter. He's already rushed 7 times for 150 yards, including runs of, like we said, 94. And he also had a 44-yard run on the first play of the ball game. So again, 113 now and counting here in the first quarter. We got it going so far. Canoteo 7, Chapin 7.
Absolutely. Steve Escajeda, thank you so much. That's our 915 Tours Game of the Week. 915 Tours, a division of Classic Elegance Coaches, is providing the best travel packages from El Paso to Dallas for Cowboy home games. Packages include round-trip travel, hotel stay at the Dallas Omni, downtown Dallas, an ultimate fan experience tailgate, a meet and greet with a player, and your ticket to watch the Cowboys. Follow on Facebook or Instagram to learn more. 915tours.com. Hey, we got a fun one in 6A between the Franklin Cougars and the Pebble Hills Spartans. Now kick off 7:30 p.m. Let's out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn at Cougar Stadium to get a little bit of a preview of this one between Pebble Hills and Franklin. Brandon, take it away.
Absolutely. Kickoff about 5 minutes away here in far west El Paso. The Pebble Hills Spartans 6-2 on the year, 4-2 in 1-6A, currently in 4th in 1-6A against the Franklin Cougars, the home team, 5-2 overall, 3-2 in 6A. They're currently 5th in District 1-6A. An extremely important game for Franklin this evening. Let's start with Pebble Hills, led by UTEP commit Gael Ochoa. Ochoa did a lot on the ground last week in a victory against Montwood. He actually had 19 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown. How about his running back, Zarian Quarles, 18 carries, 106 yards last week against Montwood. So between Ochoa and Quarles, it was their show last week. Of course, Coach Torres' team also a slew of good receivers, and Mark Torres, Jaden Gutierrez, and Brandon Cardenas, who had a touchdown reception last week. On the other side, for the Franklin Cougars, led by Darren Walker, this is a team with Shea Smith at quarterback. Incredible week victory last week against Eastlake, 23 carries, 230 yards. He can really get it done on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns last week. He represented the majority of their offense. Also, Atreyu De La Riva is at their running back position. He will indeed play tonight. This is a kid, 22 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown against Eastlake. And they do have a slew of talented receivers in Kyle McDavid, Gerald Williams, and Elias Rangel. Also worth noting, spoke with Franklin coaching staff before the game began. I mentioned Atreyu will start. Also worth mentioning that their wideout, Aiden Miller, is back after missing a couple games, and talented running back Jordan Morales, though, is out the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. About 2 minutes and change before kickoff here at Cougar Stadium between the Franklin Cougars and the Pebble Hills Spartans.
Yeah, Bo, and I really like that Aiden Miller. I don't know where he was for the first couple of months, but this will be his 3rd straight game. Looked terrific in last week's win at the SAC. Punt returner who doesn't let the ball touch the ground. The guy's got a lot of moxie. And Franklin is starving. You saw him a couple of weeks ago. Montwood got him at the end. Caleb Alvarez, the late catch. But they are starving for receivers. They were on their 5th receiver coming into the season is now their number 1. Aiden Miller coming up on the scene. I think it's huge for them. Caught a TD late. I think it was in a 41-20 final. Had like a little 20-yard slant route. But to give that terrific quarterback, Shea Smith, a weapon. I was going to say another weapon. I'm not sure he has another, but now I think he has a weapon, and we'll see, how it manifests itself against a really good Pebble Hills team tonight.
Absolutely. Going to be a fun one there. Once again, Pebble Hills at Franklin, kickoff slated for 7:30 p.m. We have a halftime score update over down in 4A. Monahans Lobos lead the Fabens Wildcats 51-7. Yep, that's your halftime score. Monahans really coming over. They put a 50 spot on Fort Stockton last week. This is a very good team. Undefeated Lobos team taking on Fabens, coming in at 3-4 overall.
And we don't have a reporter out there. Oh, darn.
It's going to be
51-7.
Tough one for Fabens. Hey, let's head out to Parkland Matador Stadium. This is going to be a fun game. Parkland hosting Bel Air, already tied at 7. Let's go out to Adrian Tellez for an update from Matador Stadium. Adrian.
Good evening, boys. It's 4:10. That's in the first quarter. Your score, Parkland 14, Bel Air 7. Bel Air with the ball. Eddie Reyes on the carry. No games. So let me get you guys set up to speed here right now. Congratulations to Parkland running back Anthony Carrillo, who broke the 1,000 rushing yard mark for the season. Already has 28 yards on 4 carries and 2 touchdowns. The opening series for the Parkland Matador started off with a 67-yard bomb by Eric Ortiz to Fabian Cervantes for 67 yards, which led to Anthony Carrillo's 1-yard rushing touchdown. On the following series, we got a first down Bel Air right here. That was a 3rd and 10, so that was a 14-yard catch by number 6, Adam Silva from Bel Air. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Bel Air inside the 20. So, boys, this is a shootout right now here at Parkland. 3:36 left in the first quarter. Your score, Parkland 14, Bel Air 7.
Oh, looks like we lost Adrian right there. But, boy, what a game. Let's set the table for you. Parkland just scored to go up 14-7 over the Bel Air Highlanders. Bel Air can put up some numbers. Parkland showing that they can play. Remember, Bel Air coming into this one 6-1 overall. Parkland at 4-3. This should be a very fun game. Both teams off last week for the district bye. So your thoughts, Paul, on this game? Bel Air, Parkland, going to be a fun one at Matador Stadium. Already 14-7 Parkland.
Yeah, pretty evenly matched. Bel Air is a tough team to figure. I saw them a few weeks ago against Hanks, and they threw for more than 400 yards, 450-plus yards for Moreno. And then last week, speaking of Chris Davis in that game, I think he had 7 catches for something like 220 yards. Huge game. The very next week was the Ysleta game, which they, of course, lost. And I believe that Davis at the end of that one had a couple of catches for negative numbers. I'm not sure how you go from 200 to negative. I'm pretty sure Chris Davis is somewhere in the middle, one of the better receivers in the city, and Bel Air, a pretty good throwing team, but held to just 112 yards again 2 weeks ago in the Ysleta upset. So, which Bel Air is going to show up tonight? Well, looks like the one that at least scores earlier than they did against Ysleta. And, of course, Parkland always has a lot of talent. The guy who could be the X factor, Kayla Martinez, the defensive back, 3 kickoff returns for scores in each of the last 2 contests for Parkland. One a win, one a loss. I think it was a couple against Ysleta for their first district win, and even took one back 2 weeks ago in the Del Valle blowout loss.
All right. Once again, Parkland hosting Bel Air tonight, 14-7. Parkland leading Bel Air in the first quarter. We'll have much more from Adrian Tellis a little bit later in Football Friday night. Hey, let's head out to Excalibur Stadium. Join Joey Panisi on the call. Hanks hosting Del Valle. Del Valle is really rolling lately, but see if Hanks can stay in there. Let's go out to Joey for an update. Joey.
Yes, from Del Valle Stadium, with a minute left in the first quarter, it's Del Valle 7, Hanks 0. Everyone thought this would be an offensive shootout, and I know it's too early to tell, but the only points that are on the board are due to a 42-yard pick six by Del Valle's Joshua Nunez. Michael Tolliver for Hanks he has 10 carries already, and he just ran it down to the Del Valle 15-yard line. So Hanks is looking a little better right now. We're featuring 2 of the highest quality quarterbacks in town with Jake Fetty, sophomore from Del Valle. He's putting up 253 yards per game. Hanks is led by senior Marcus Poros. He's got 262 yards per game. And Poros has accounted for 22 touchdowns this season already. Fetty, the sophomore, missed a game due to an injury, and he's accounted for 27 touchdowns for Del Valle. So I think the fans on homecoming night are ready for these offenses to explode. Tolliver on his 11th carry right up the middle, and he stopped just inside the 15-yard line. So actually the first quarter just ended. So at the end of the first quarter from Conquest Stadium, home of the Del Valle Conquistadors, it's Del Valle 7, Hanks 0.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. Del Valle right there. Once again, a little bit of a surprising. Their offense a little bit stale tonight, but defense coming through in a 46-yard pick six for the Del Valle Conquistadors.
Yeah, and they always play a terrific defense, and I probably say it every week. And remember, that's been without Isaac Maltos, the guy who was probably the preseason defensive MVP in that district. Broken foot, and it's been, what is this, week 9 now? I'm thinking that guy should be coming back online any day now. Hopefully, Joey will have some info for us. But speaking of info, The bull ring once again. It's getting crazy out there. Mark Mukiibi just put one back in for the Highlanders. That thing's knotted at 14, 2:49. Wow, a game with so many points moving so quickly. 2:49 till halftime.
Wow, that's
That
going to
can't
be a
be
lot of
right.
fun one. Got to be a fun one there. But tied at 14, most importantly, Belair and Parkland tied at 14 early on. That's going to be a fun one. Once again, back to the Delvi Hanks game. Delvi has won 5 in a row after that tough loss to Pebble Hills, 33-6. Really starting to roll for Delvi right now. Hey, let's head out to Riverfront Stadium. Riverside hosting Austin, a battle of unbeatens in district play. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley for an update from Tom Work Stadium at Riverfront Stadium. J.D., take it away.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is going. This game seems like it's going quicker than my last relationship. Austin is definitely playing methodically against Riverside. Since Riverside can score very quickly, Austin is literally waiting to the last very decimal second to hike the ball. Unfortunately, they are still behind with that methodical approach because Derek Vasquez, who is the quarterback's team leader for Riverside, coming in with 1,085 passing yards, 686 running, and 27 touchdowns total. He already has one touchdown, 1 yard run, and then Noah Ramirez, the running back for Riverside, also has a touchdown. And right before we got on, beautiful scamper by Ruben Bastillos for Austin Panthers. So it is 8:56 left in the second quarter. Riverside 13, Austin 6. Got a good one.
All right, JD, thank you so much. So 13-6. Riverside over Austin early on in this game. Riverside has really put up a lot of points. They had a really tough loss to Bushland a couple weeks ago, but really seeming to own district in El Paso the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, don't forget Bushland got him last year when all the monsters were around. You know, Angel Munoz and that bunch, Jose Guardado. But Riverside's really had to find in this Derek Vasquez kid. Remember, he wasn't even the backup last year. I mean, he was on the defensive side. He was a D-back. But you had Munoz, who was getting snaps at quarterback, and then Ian Montillon was the other guy. So, this guy wasn't even considered to go under center. But once everybody graduates and they're like, hey, we need a quarterback, boy, this Vasquez kid really stepped in. Even though, remember the week 1 loss, it was this Vasquez kid who rallied Riverside back to within 34-33. And who was he throwing to? He was throwing to that freshman, Carlos Rojas, who in his first game 14-year-old, I guess, his first high school game, catches a couple of late touchdowns, an extra point away from going into overtime, and they had a celebration penalty and had to try and go for 2 from their own 18-yard line, which is why they came away with the L. But Vasquez, I think, hit the ground running right off, and you hear why. Throws the ball pretty well. He's good for over 100 yards a game, and at the same time, 600 yards on the ground. He's versatile, and that's what they need.
Absolutely. Austin actually had a bye last week, but the week before that, they beat El Paso High 18-7. Austin can play here, but keeping down, they're down by a touchdown, 13-6 early in the first quarter. Meanwhile, let's go over to the Burgess El Paso game. Now, El Paso High, you think this might be a hangover from that really tough 15-12 loss to Andrus 2 weeks ago. Remember, El Paso High did 41 points on Jeff last week. Okay, maybe El Paso might have found their stride. Here come the winless Burgess Mustangs. Let's head out to Bill Kuhn at R.R. Jones Stadium for an update on Burgess at El Paso High. Bill.
With 52 seconds left in the first quarter, it is Burgess Mustangs 14, El Paso High 13. Let me tell you how we got there. El Paso High struck first with a 1-yard run from Amir Mata, or a 14-yard pass from Amir Mata for the touchdown. Then the extra point was no good. Then Burgess came driving down the field with a huge run up the middle, 23 yards for. I'm sorry, guys, my notes are all over the place. Caleb Hanna. Caleb Hanna has 97 yards on the night, 1 touchdown, and that was his first touchdown for tonight so far. El Paso High then came back just while I was on the phone for a 15-yard touchdown pass to Pablo Gonzalez. So with 49 seconds left here in the first quarter, it is Burgess 14, El Paso High 13. One of the big things here is with Burgess defense being suspect, especially on the run, they are holding El Paso running game down, and El Paso cannot stop Caleb Hanna. So with 44 seconds left here at El Paso High, it is Burgess 14, El Paso High 13.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. Going to be a slugfest, though, between these two teams, especially if El Paso High can't stop the Burgess running game.
Yeah, I saw Burgess last week against Chapin. The best running back they're going to see, Kerry Wade, who's terrific. We already heard the 91-yard run early in the big Canutillo game. If you go 91 against that Canutillo defense, you're some kind of tough. Went for a little, I think it was 158 and 3/4 of play before they shut him down, but it was actually a credible job by the Burgess defense, the way they've been gashed. Remember, they had a stretch where I think it was 4 straight games where there was a 200-yard plus rusher, and the only thing that interrupted that streak is when Hanks came around, and they didn't have a 200-yard rusher, but they did have Jude Blanco go for 200-plus through the air. You just heard Caleb Hanna. He's a good skill guy, a good running back. A little over 120 yards last week against Chapin. They have Devin Mata, a receiver, who had a 47-yard slant, and the quarterback, Alex Rios, is pretty good as well. I think it comes down to that Burgess defense. If they're able to, as Bill told us, there's still 13 El Paso points on the board, but if they're able to slow that El Paso run game and the defense, does half a decent job, I think the Mustangs have a chance at their first victory of the season.
Hey, we got a score update from 6A, Franklin's Cougar Stadium. Pebble Hills strikes first. Pebble Hills up 7-0, about 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. So Pebble Hills strikes first, up 7-0 over the Franklin Cougars. We also have another score update. Horizon has scored against Isleta, so that game now tied at 7 in the first quarter. We'll hear from Angel Torres in just a moment. Let's head out to Andrus Allen Sepkowitz Stadium, get an update from Jerry Alvarez as Andrus is hosting Jefferson tonight. Jerry, what do you got for us?
Yes, with 7:57 left in the second quarter here, it is the Andrus Eagles 14, the Jefferson Silver Foxes 0. Just a few moments ago, Urbina from Andrus connected with Eric Blucher with a 44-yard TD pass to put them up 14-0. Earlier in the night, Jaden Urbina on a 1-yard QB keeper was able to get the ball in only at the very end of the first quarter after a very rough start for the Andrus Eagles offense, as penalties have been plaguing them the whole first half, including one 53-yard touchdown pass being called back for an ineligible receiver, and also an interception being called back for a pass interference call. That's the only way Jefferson has really been able to stay in the game. Both teams have been trying to establish a run game, but it seems now Andrus has been resorting to the pass with that 44-yard TD pass. Currently, Jefferson has the ball on their own 25-yard line to start this next drive. With 7:43 left in the second quarter, it is Andrus 14, Jefferson 0.
All right, Jerry Alvarez from Andrus Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. Jerry, thank you so much. 14-0. The Eagles lead the Silver Foxes in the second quarter. We have a score update from J.D. Sursley out at Riverfront Stadium. J.D. says Riverside has scored again. They're up 20-6 now. Derek Vasquez hit his wide receiver Carlos Rojas for a 75-yard touchdown. Riverside takes a 20-6 lead early in the second quarter. Hey, we got a tie game over at Emperor Stadium. Horizon hosting Isleta. Let's go to our new reporter, Angel Torres, for an update. Angel, take it away.
With 5:41 in the second quarter, the Isleta Indians are now leading the Horizon Scorpions 14-7. Horizon fumbled the ball in Isleta territory, which led to an 18-yard Evan Martinez rushing score for Isleta. Then number 2, Robert Rodriguez, hit number 5, Ezekiel Bonilla, for a 28-yard touchdown pass, tying the game at 7-7. But just now, moments ago, Evan Martinez hit number 4, Adrian Martinez, for a 22-yard touchdown pass to make the score 14-7. So, once again, Isleta 14, Horizon 7.
All right, Angel Torres, thank you so much. 14-7, the Indians take the lead on the Horizon Scorpions. We got an update, a big touchdown from the Canutillo Eagles. Let's head out, the Chapin Huskies. Let's head out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Join Steve Escajeda for an update from Irvin Memorial Stadium. Steve.
We've got 5:58 to go here before the half, and Chapin has just taken a 14-7 lead over Canutillo. Quarterback Davian Singleton keeping the ball and running 61 yards down the field untouched, great speed along the left sideline to give Chapin that one touchdown lead. And what a great running duo for Chapin. We said earlier that Kerry Wade, who now has 8 carries for 153 yards, while now Singleton 9 carries for 80 yards himself and a touchdown. So again, things started kind of weird when a first play of the ball game when Canutillo of their possession, scoring on a huge touchdown pass. But now things are kind of settling into place. Chapin has gotten their wits about them, and again, that running game is really starting to take over. So 5:58 to go here in the second quarter. It is now Chapin 14, Canutillo 7.
And, Bo, the thing to notice there is Davion Singleton, quarterback. Steve said it a couple of times. Remember, past several games, he's been getting most of his reps at receiver. Ethan Rivera, the pretty good throwing quarterback, but what they have in Singleton is a freak athlete. And when they put him under center or out of the shotgun, they have Singleton, freak athlete, next to Kerry Wade, freak athlete. When you have two explosive weapons like that side by side, who's going to get it? Is it Singleton? Or is it Wade? We saw the exact same thing last week for Pebble Hills. That's how they pounded their way to that 16-14 win over Montwood. Guile Ochoa, the quarterback, with a keep, or sometimes he's going to slip it off to his running back, Quarles. And they back and forth their way to 200 yards on the ground and a huge victory. Well, these guys are even more explosive than that. As again, I'll repeat, Wade already had a 91-yard run in this one, and Singleton has finished off a couple of drives with his legs. So this is the plan for Chapin when there's a big game, and Canutillo is definitely their big game.
Absolutely. There's going to be a fun one now. Once again, 14-7, Chapin leading the Canutillo Eagles. Let's go down to 4A. We have some score updates. Fort Stockton hosting Mountain View, and the Panthers lead this one 38-0 in the third quarter. Panthers over the Mountain View Lobos. Also in the third quarter, Clint has come back to take the lead over Pecos. Clint now leads 14-10 over Pecos in the third quarter. And over down at Cathedral hosting St. Michael's, per our reporter on site, Ray Adalto, Uncle Ray says St. Michael's is up 7-3. That game is in the second quarter. We'll keep you updated with that one. Once again, we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back with much more. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Week 9 Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. High school football action all over the borderland from the land of enchantment to El Paso. And we got some score updates to our Ignitify local scoreboard. In our 915 Tours Game of the Week, the Chapin Huskies lead the Canutillo Eagles 14-7. That's in the second quarter. This late game kickoff over at Franklin High School. Pebble Hills leads Franklin 7-0. Over at Matador Stadium, a shootout so far, second quarter. Parkland leads Bel Air 24-14. Early on after the first quarter, Del Valle only leads Hanks 7-0. Low scoring affair right there at Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Big time scoring over at Riverfront Stadium. Second quarter, Riverside leads Austin 20-14. Meanwhile, R.R. Jones Stadium, here come the Burgess Mustangs looking for their first victory of the season. They lead El Paso High 21-13 in the second quarter. Over at Andress High School, Andress Eagles flying over the Jefferson Silver Foxes, leading 14-0 in the second quarter. Also down in 5A, second quarter, Isleta leads Horizon 14-7. Early on today, Coronado, the upset of the night so far. Coronado shocks Americus 28-24 with a touchdown with 30 seconds to go to earn the win there. Also scores over at 4A. Monahans leads Fabens 51-7 at halftime. Fort Stockton leading Mountain View 38-0 in the third quarter. And Clint holding on to a 1-point lead at home at Lions Stadium, 14-13, but we have an update.
Yeah, a little better than that. 10 minutes now left in that contest. Clint out to the 21-13 lead now. Another touchdown on the board.
So Clint Lions up by 8 right now. Here come the Lions over Pecos. That's a big game for it.
Coming off that huge win a week ago over Mountain View, I was looking at stats after that. The total snaps in that contest, Mountain View had a couple of big plays. Alex Lehrman, 88-yard TD run. Eric Martinez had a 40-yard interception return. But they only ran 20 plays in the contest. Clint, with that wishbone offense, spreading it around to all those different running backs, 72 snaps. Wow. 72 snaps to 20 in that one. And, of course, Clint came away with a 17-14 victory. They were in the same boat last year, but they wound up losing to Pecos and got knocked out of the playoffs for the first time in 14 years on a three-way point differential tiebreaker. Mountain View and Pecos got in. I don't think Clint wants that to happen. Looks like they want to take care of business tonight and not have to worry about any of that nonsense.
Very much so. According to a reporter, Uncle Ray over at Burgess High School, Ray Adalto says St. Michael's scored again. Now, second quarter, St. Michael's leads Cathedral 13-3. Once again, that's in the second quarter over at Burgess High School. And we have a touchdown scoring update over at Franklin High School. Pebble Hills has scored again. They now lead Franklin 14-0 in the first quarter. Let's head out to Brandon Cohn, the Iceman at Franklin's Cougar Stadium, for an update. Brandon, take it away.
We now have a new score with 3:31 left here in the first quarter, as it's now Pebble Hills 14, Franklin 7, 8:58 of the first quarter. Pebble Hills' first possession of the game marched down the field with the 7-play drive, culminates on a 13-yard touchdown toss from Ochoa to wideout Marcus Torres. PAT was good, making the score Pebble Hills 7-0 over Franklin. Then Pebble Hills, their next possession, 4:11 left in the first. They strike again, a free play from quarterback Ochoa on an offsides call on Franklin. He takes full advantage of the Cougars' blunder as Ochoa throws a beautiful 31-yard touchdown pass to his wideout Torres. Torres' second TD reception of the first quarter, making the score 14-0 in favor of Pebble Hills. Then Franklin finally comes back at the 3:31 mark here of the first quarter, and they say not so fast as their quarterback Shea Smith, a 56-yard rushing touchdown to the left-hand side of the field. He scores with ease, getting the Cougars within 7. What a game in the first quarter in far west El Paso. 3:31 left here in the first. It's Pebble Hills 14, Franklin 7.
Oh, that's going to be a fun one over at Cougar Stadium. Cougars getting back in the one after Pebble Hills taking a 14-0 lead.
Smith was huge in the Eastlake win last week. He picked the team up, put him on his shoulders. He ran for, I think it was 220 on, 20-plus carries and, of course, a couple of touchdowns through the air. But, he's their best player. As I said, hopefully Aiden Miller, the receiver, is providing him with a little bit of help. But, yeah, a lot of inexperience all around that kid. Yeah, you got to feel for him.
Absolutely. Hey, we got another fun one over at Matador Stadium. Let's head back out to Parkland's Matador Stadium. Parkland hosting Bel Air, and join Adrian Tellis for an update. Adrian.
It's 7:05 in the second quarter. Your score, Parkland 24, Bel Air 14. Get you guys caught up to speed here. Second quarter scoring, Adrian Loya for Parkland kicked a 38-yard field goal to put them up 17-14. On the kickoff, Adrian Loya attempts an onside kick and was successful. That led to an Eric Ortiz to a Jesus Molina 27-yard passing touchdown that puts up Parkland now 24-14. Parkland currently has the ball right now. There is an injured Parkland Matador on the field right now. So, boys, right now it's the second quarter. Your score, Parkland 24, Bel Air 14.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much. What a game there. Hopefully everybody's all right in that game. But Parkland leading Bel Air first half, 24-14. Parkland over Bel Air so far. Hey, we got a lot of scoring down at Riverfront Stadium. Let's join J.D. Sursley for an update. Riverside hosting Austin. J.D.
All right, so we have two more scores, absolutely. Riverside 26, Austin 14. 3 scores, actually. It's 3:10 left in the second quarter. It was only a matter of time before the freshman stunner, Carlos Rojas, got into the mix. A 75-yard bomb catch from Derek Vasquez, quarterback, put Riverside up. Continuing their lead. And then Austin methodically misdirection runs on the very next drive. Oscar Torres with several big scampers, especially with his 32-yard run. And then the previous drive, Riverside gets it back, another pass-and-go type drive. And then Ricky Briones catches it 8 yards from Derek Vasquez outside the goal line. And then it made it 26-14. Riverside 26, Austin 14, 2:58 left in the second quarter.
All right, JD, thank you very much. What a game there. Going to be a lot of fun between Riverside and Austin. Let's head back out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Get an update from Steve Escajeda. Chapin hosting Canutillo. Steve.
Well, guys, we've got 2:26 to go before the half, and just as advertised, great ball game. It's now Chapin 14, Canutillo 14. Canutillo quarterback Jeremiah Knox running it in from 5 yards out to tie the score. And like we said at the very beginning, I mean, these two teams are battling it out for first place in District 1-5A. And, boy, they're both playing like it. Again, great defense. Chapin had the bigger plays. Canutillo, again, just these methodical drives like the last one that finally got that score in. A couple of quick individual stats. For Canutillo, their quarterback, Knox, has an 85-yard touchdown pass to go along with that 5-yard touchdown run. And we told you a little while ago about the running duo of Chapin. Kerry Wade, 8 carries, 153 yards. Davion Singleton, their quarterback, was gone all the way tonight at quarterback. 9 rushes for 80 yards and a touchdown. 1:49 and counting here in the second quarter. It is Canutillo 14, Chapin 14.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. That's our 915 Tours Game of the Week. 915 Tours is a division of Classic Elegance Coaches, providing travel packages from El Paso to Dallas for Cowboy home games. Packages, once again, include round-trip travel, hotel stay, an ultimate fan experience tailgate, meet and greet with a player, and, of course, your ticket to watch the Cowboys. Follow on Facebook or Instagram. Learn more at 915tours.com. We have some score updates from all over the area. 21-7 now as Letta leads Horizon in the second quarter. Once again, 21-7. In the third quarter, Monahans all over Fabin, 65-7. Mountain View has scored a couple of touchdowns, made it interesting between Fort Stockton maybe. Once down 38-0, it's now 38-14 Fort Stockton over Mountain View in the third quarter. Also, 21-13, fourth quarter between Clint and Pecos. Should be a fun one at Lions Stadium. Clint leads Pecos 21-13. St. Michael's scored 13-3 now. St. Michael's over Cathedral and over in the Land of Enchantment. Gadsden leads Santa Teresa 21-0 at halftime. We're going to take a break, come back with much more. Your Ignitify local scoreboard and much more for our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Chapin and Canutillo tied at 14. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, it's time for our Football Friday Night 2-minute drill, brought to you by the El Paso Association of Builders. Quick updates from every game in our area. Let's go out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Get a quick update from Steve Escajeda. What do you got, Steve?
Well, thanks a lot, guys. We've just gone to the half, and it is, as advertised, great ball game. Canutillo 14, Chapin 14. So far, it's been a battle of the quarterbacks for Canutillo. Jeremiah Knox, a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. For Chapin, Davion Singleton has a couple of touchdown runs of 2 and 61 yards. Again, just gone to the half. Great ball game. Canutillo 14, Chapin 14.
All right, Steve Escajeda from our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Thank you, Steve. Let's head out to Franklin Cougars. Cougar Stadium. Franklin hosting Pebble Hills. Get an update from Brandon Cohn. Brandon.
11:55 left here in the first half, and Pebble Hills is up 20-7, barring an extra point. Spartans quarterback Ochoa, 22-yard touchdown pass to his wideout Brandon Cardenas. Ochoa, 3 touchdown passes in the first half alone. 11:55 left in the second quarter. Pebble Hills up 20-7 over Franklin.
All right, Brandon Cohn, the Iceman from Cougar Stadium. Thank you so much. 21-7, Pebble Hills over Franklin. Let's head out to Matador Stadium. Parkland hosting Bel Air. Get an update from Adrian Tellis. Adrian.
In the second quarter, still a score, Parkland 24, Bel Air 14. Eric Ortiz, Anthony Carrillo right now for Parkland has 8 carries, 71 yards for 2 touchdowns, has already eclipsed the 1,000 rushing yard mark for the 2023 football season. Jesus Molina has 2 catches for 32 yards and 1 touchdown for Parkland Matador. So with 2:40 left in the second quarter, your score, Parkland 24, Bel Air 14.
All right, Adrian Tellis from Matador Stadium, 24-14, Parkland leading Bel Air. See if the high-flying Bel Air Highlanders can come back into this or if Parkland Matadors can hold on. Let's head out to Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Join Joey Panisi for an update as Hanks hosting Del Valle. Joey.
Yes, from Del Valle Conquest Stadium. We're at Del Valle tonight, and we have, a little hot action here. Fetty just connected with his second touchdown in a row to Ryu Nunez. 2 minutes ago, he connected on an 89-yarder that really woke everyone up because offenses had been very sluggish, and now he connects after an onside kick for a 34-yard strike Turiu Nunez. So right now we're looking at, before the extra point, it's Del Valle going to be 21 if they make the extra point to Hanks 3. One of the concerning things about the game was star running back Shelton Fuller had to be helped off the field, and it was weird because Hanks was kicking their field goal, their 15-yard field goal, and then when everybody got up out of the pile, he seemed to be limping. So he limped off the field with a little bit of assistance, and as of yet, he hasn't been back in the game. So now with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter, Del Valle has opened up a lead now 21-3.
All right, Joey Panisi from Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Joey, thank you so much. 21-3, Del Valle leads Hanks. Let's head out to Riverfront Stadium. Riverside hosting Austin. Get an update from J.D. Sursley. J.D.
41 seconds left in the first half. 26 Riverside, Austin 14. They just tried to chunk a Hail Mary, and they got him. Oh, touchdown, Austin! 35 seconds left in the game. They just scored. It's going to be 26 Riverside, Austin 20, 35 seconds left in the game, or in the first half, Matthew Felix, 37-yard touchdown from Andrew Andujo, or Anakin Torres, I'm sorry. It is 26 Riverside, Austin 20, 35 seconds left in the first half.
Wow, what a time to get out to J.D. Sursley. Riverfront Stadium pending the extra point. Riverside leads Austin 26-20. Bomb right before halftime for the Austin Panthers. Let's head out to Bill Kuhn at R.R. Jones Stadium. El Paso High hosting Burgess. Get an update from this game, Bill.
3:19 left in the first half. It is Burgess 27, El Paso High 20. Caleb Hanna for Burgess, it's been the story of the night. He just scored the last touchdown 4-yard run into the end zone. He has 187 yards in the first half. That's the story here at El Paso High with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first half. Oh, my gosh. Number one for El Paso High, Pablo Gonzalez just caught a 43-yard pass for El Paso High. Pablo Gonzalez, 43-yard pass for a touchdown for El Paso High. So the score now is Burgess 27, El Paso High 26 with the extra point to go with 3 minutes left in the first.
What a time to do our no-huddle drill. Bill, thank you so much. Back-to-back games, we get long touchdowns right on the call. So pending the extra point, Burgess leading El Paso High by 1 point, 27-26. Hey, we're going to go out to Horizon's Emperor Stadium, join Angel Torres. Isleta at Horizon for an update. Here's Angel Torres. Angel.
After Isleta intercepted Horizon quarterback Robert Rodriguez around midfield, Isleta quarterback Evan Martinez hits number 0 DeAndre Jackson for a 25-yard touchdown pass. Isleta leads at halftime 28-7.
28-7. Isleta over Horizon at the half. Thank you so much. What a game there for the Isleta Indians. And now let's head over to Jerry Alvarez. It's halftime over at Andrus Allen Sepkowitz Stadium for this halftime report brought to you by Prep One. Let's go out to Jerry Alvarez. Jerry.
It's currently halftime here at Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. The Andrus Eagles lead the Jefferson Silver Foxes 14-0. Currently on the night, Miguel Rubio, who is their returning workhorse for 1,000 yards rushing last year, is only 8 carries and 29 yards in the first half, along with quarterback Jesus Gomez with 5 carries for 20 yards and their best drive ending the second half, going down all the way to the 3-yard line, but only to be stopped on 4th and goal by the Andrus defense, which has really kept Andrus in the game. On the Andrus side, Jaden Urbina, who has taken over the QB position after Vincent Gonzalez received a concussion during the El Paso High game a couple of weeks ago. Jaden Urbina has really stepped up. He is perfect on the night so far for 5 for 5 for 74 yards. He has 1 touchdown pass for 44 yards to Eric Blutcher. Eric Blutcher, he only has 2 receptions on the night, but he already has 56 yards receiving with that 1 TD. And again, the penalties have been really keeping Jefferson in the game. Andrus currently has 6 penalties for 55 yards in the first half, which has helped Jefferson on that last drive it down the field. But like I said, defense stepped up and they went into the locker room on a high note, stopping them on 4th and goal. Two other notes from the defense keeping them game. They ended Jefferson's first drive of the night with Elijah Cooper, a freshman of Andress, getting an interception, and later on Donovan Melendez also getting a big interception to help set up that 44-yard touchdown pass. Currently, it is halftime here. Andress leads Jefferson 14-0.
And again, Bo, you hear the kids for Andrews, such a young team. You heard Elijah Cooper, of course, Tristan and Jeremiah's little brother, the last of the Coopers, I hear, just a freshman. You heard the Blucher kid, the receiver, their top receiver, just a sophomore. And, I love the name Blucher.
Yes.
Young Frankenstein. You're talking to people that weren't even alive back then. But you got this crazy Google machine now. Just put in Frau Blucher, F-R-A-U, Blucher, B-L-U-C-H-E-R, and then watch the video and have yourself a good laugh, courtesy of Mel Brooks.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Hey, we got more scores in our Ignitify local scoreboard. In the first quarter, El Dorado leads Socorro 7-0. And big 4A games tonight. Let's go over to Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium. Bowie all over St. Elliot halftime, 35-0. Now in 4A, boy, Monahans looking like the powerhouse that they are. In the fourth quarter, they lead Fabin 72-7. Meanwhile, Fort Stockton leads Mountain View 38-14, that in the third quarter. And late in the fourth quarter, Clint holding on to a slim lead over Pecos. It's 21-13, Clint over Pecos. Over down in the land of enchantment, Roswell all over Mayfield in the second quarter, 28-0. Hobbs leads Oregon Mountain 34-3 in the second quarter. And also in the second quarter, Centennial all over Alamogordo, 28-7. At halftime, Gadsden leads Santa Teresa 21-0. And down at Anthony, Sonoro all over the Anthony Wildcats right now in the third quarter, 54-20. And after a touchdown by Cathedral's Josh Bowling over at Burgess Mustang Stadium, St. Michael's answers just before halftime. So it's at the half. St. Michael's leads Cathedral 20-0. And that is your Ignitify local scoreboard. Ignitify, your AC installation service provider. We're going to take a break, come back, and we'll have much more from all over town. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night, Week 9 here in the Borderland. From the land of enchantment to West Texas, we got high school football everywhere, and we've got some great games all around town. Some and most have gone to halftime. Instead, we've got a barn burner over at Franklin's Cougar Stadium. Let's start with the Iceman, Brandon Cohn, get an update on Franklin hosting Pebble Hills. Brandon.
Thanks.
Brandon, are you there? Take it away.
Yes, 7:25 left here in the first half, and Pebble Hills has a 21-7 lead, and Pebble Hills knocking on the door again as Ochoa completing, I'm guesstimating, about a 40-yard pass to his wideout and Marcus Torres. So basically it's been the Ochoa and Torres show tonight. Gail Ochoa here in this first half alone, 6 of 10, about 140 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Also his wideout Marcus Torres, he has 2 receptions for 44 yards, 2 touchdowns, and worth mentioning, he had a touchdown reception called back here because of a penalty on Pebble Hills. So we have 7:01 left here in the opening half. Pebble Hills up 21-7, knocking on the door again.
All right, Brandon Cohn over at Franklin's Cougar Stadium. Franklin down to Pebble Hills right now, 21-7. Mark Torres knows his former coach, Darren Walker, very well. Mark Torres was on the staff at Franklin. And, boy, this is a fun one. But Mark Torres and the Pebble Hills Spartans really taking it to the Franklin Cougars right now, up 21-7 in the second quarter. We got halftimes all over the borderland. Let's go back to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Canutillo and Chapin get at this halftime report from Steve Escajeda. Steve.
In the battle for first place in District 158, Division 1, it is Canutillo 14, Chapin 14. Nothing decided yet. I'll give you some individual stats here. Matthew Gasca, the backup quarterback for Canutillo, leads them on the ground. 4 carries, 34 yards. Jeremiah Knox, the starting quarterback, he is 4 for 4 in the ball game for 128 yards and one 85-yard touchdown pass. And the one that caught that pass was Eduardo Carrillo. That's his only catch of the ball game so far, but not a bad one. Again, 85 yards and a touchdown. For Chapin, they're led on the ground by Kerry Wade. 8 carries, 153 yards. Wow. Also, quarterback Davian Singleton, 9 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Singleton only 1 out of 4 through the air for 8 yards, but heck, he doesn't need any passing yards as long as he keeps running it the way he has been. And why not? Kerry Wade, he's caught that only ball for 8 yards. Team-wise, Canutillo, 183 yards in the first half, 128 passing, 55 on the ground. Again, 183 total. For Chapin, 245 total yards, 8 through the air, 237 of those have been on the ground. Again, great ball game. We said before, offense against defense, Chapin's offense, Canutillo's defense. Right now, I don't know where we're at. We're right in the middle. Halftime here in the battle for first place, District 1-5A. It is Canutillo 14, Chapin 14.
All right, Steve Escojedo with that halftime report. Thank you so much, Steve. Our halftime report's brought to you by 600 ESPN El Paso and Prep One. Visit 600ESPNElPaso.com for recaps, photos by Prep One, and final scores for Football Friday Night. Make sure to subscribe to the Football Friday Night On Demand for the replay of each show. Football Friday Night On Demand is available wherever you get your podcasts. So, Paul, bring you in here, as you just heard from Steve right here, 14-14. Big game between Canutillo and Chapin. Again, both teams identical records, 5-2, 2-0 in district. Been a fun first half. Some good numbers put up here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, I mean, it's that classic, any sport, the boxer puncher, Ali versus Frazier. This guy does this thing well, and this guy does this thing well. This guy's tough. This guy's got a lot of technique. I mean, that's what we're seeing. I think those always make for fun matchups, and that's what we're getting tonight. Anytime you put two really good teams on the field, which, by the way, I'm fresh off of seeing that. Again, the Thursday nighter last night, Eastwood and Montwood was probably the game of the year, I think, 48-41 final. So much stuff going on tonight. We're going to get to that eventually, but wow, what a game, and typical, Eastwood making plays when they needed to. As I said, we'll get to it.
Absolutely. We'll get to our halftime reports right now. We'll talk about that Eastwood win over Montwood last night after the break. Let's head back out to Adrian Tellis, a fun one between Parkland and Bel Air creeping towards halftime. Let's go out to Adrian Tellis at Matador Stadium. Adrian.
Boys, let me catch my breath. 44 points scored in the first half. It's halftime right now here at the Northeast. Parkland 24, Bel Air 21. With 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the second quarter, Moreno connected to Oscar Martinez for a 51-yard screen pass that scored 7 points for the Highlanders in the second quarter. So let me give you guys some updated stats here in the first half. Eddie Reyes for Bel Air, 14 carries for 46 yards. Noah Moreno, spreading the wealth, has 3 touchdowns. He's 14 for 21 with 173 yards. Chris Davis, 5 receptions, 19 yards, 1 touchdown. Mark Mukibi, 5 receptions, 73 yards for 1 touchdown. And then Oscar Martinez on that 51-yard screen pass right before the half. For the Matadors, we got Eric Ortiz, who's 9 for 16 with 166 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Anthony Carrillo suffered what appeared to be an ankle injury, got taped up, but went back in the second quarter. He's right now has 8 carries, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Leading receivers for the Parkland Matadors is number 13, Fabian Cervantes, 1 reception, 67 yards. Jesus Molina has 2 receptions, 32 yards for 1 touchdown. Boy, it's going to be a fun second half here in the Northeast. It's halftime right now. Your score, Parkland 24, Bel Air 21.
God, what a fun game that one is.
Absolutely.
And I always marvel at Bel Air because this is the same Bel Air team that started the season 7-0 last year before Zach Martinez broke his collarbone. They lost 3 out of their final 4. But it's a lot of the same characters, but it's not the same team at all. That was a team. Zach Martinez was the linchpin of that club This year, starting, 1,000-yard back through 6 games, he barely played, halfway through week 7 before he was gone for the season. As I said, still over 1,000 this year. Missed the first couple of games. I don't know if it's hangover from the collarbone or if there's another issue. But if he carries the ball 5 or 6 times in a game for 30 yards, it hits your radar. They are a throw-first team. Now, you just heard it. Little bubble screen to Oscar Martinez. He went 52 yards or whatever to put a huge touchdown on the board. You're down 24-14 going to halftime. All of a sudden, you make a little 12-yard pass toward the sidelines, and 52 yards later, you're 3 points away. Major touchdown for Highlander offense that, as we said earlier, really struggled a couple of weeks ago against Ysleta.
Absolutely. So big for the Bel Air Highlanders. Once again, Parkland leading Bel Air 24-21 at halftime. We have another update for you. We have a final from Fabens. Monahans defeats Fabens 72-7. Yeah, big win for the Monahans Lobos there. We also have an update from the SAC, the late game, El Dorado at Socorro. El Dorado now leads Socorro in the second quarter, 14-7. Second quarter, speaking of second quarters, it's been all Del Valle over at Hanks Excalibur Stadium. It's Del Valle 28-3 at last check. Let's get an update from Joey Panisi as this game is inching closer to halftime. Joey.
Yes, from Conquest Stadium, home of the Del Valle Conquistadors. The score is now 28 Del Valle, 3 for Hanks. And, boy, after a very boring first quarter where the only scoring was a Josiah Nunez 42-yard pick six for Del Valle, Hanks started off the second quarter, couldn't score from the 3, and had to settle for a 15-yard field goal off the foot of Victor Gutierrez. And then Katie bar the door. Here comes Del Valle with 4:48 in the quarter. Fetty strikes Ryu Nunez for an 89-yard touchdown. Del Valle decides to onside kick it, and they recover it from the 34-yard line. The very next play, with 4:11 left in the second quarter, Fetty strikes Ryu Nunez, I guess that's how you say it, again for a 34-yard touchdown, making it 21-3. And then with 1:53 left in the second quarter, Hanks turns the ball over on downs at their own 43-yard line, and Fetty on the very next play once again connects to Ryu Nunez for his third consecutive touchdown. So looking at the stats, Hanks is struggling. Marcus Porras, quarterback from Hanks, is showing incredible poise, but he just can't solve the riddle of that Del Valle tough defense. I don't think they get enough credit for their defense. They've been able to hold Jude Blanco, the leading receiver in town, to just 2 catches. Every time he goes out for a ball, his specialty is yards after the catch, and they've been smothering him like a blanket, 2 or 3 guys on him. So very frustrating. Jude Blanco has 2 catches for 25 yards. Porras, 8 for 15 for only 78 yards. And then their workhorse, Michael Tolliver, has 16 carries and 73 yards. For Del Valle, Fetty is 5 for 10, 188 yards, 3 touchdown strikes. Josh Nunez, a 42-yard pick six. So one thing of concern is we haven't figured out what's going on with star running back. In fact, before the game, Rudy Contreras told me that the key to their whole offense is their running back, Shelton Fuller. He's averaging 100 yards per game and 10 TDs for the year, and he sets everything up because if you don't cover him, he's going to hurt you. But anyway, back to you guys. At the half at Conquistador Stadium, it's Del Valle 28, Hanks 3.
And Bo Bagley, speaking of hurting, out at Clint Lyon Stadium, 10 seconds left in the contest. Pecos punches one in, and the 2-point conversion is...
Let me guess.
Good. Yes, good guess. 21 up. That one's going to be headed to overtime anytime soon now. In fact, I'm sure they're already there out at Lion Stadium. A fun one on a night of what looks like a bunch of fun ones.
Absolutely. It's not fun if you're a Franklin Cougar fan. Pebble Hills has just scored again. They're now up 28-7 middle of the second quarter. So Pebble Hills leads Franklin 28-7. And meanwhile, Andress has scored again. Andrus is now up 21-0. And I'd like to apologize to Joey right now. I kept having this game over at Hanks Excalibur Stadium, and I kept having it in my notes, and I would just cross that out. So.
See, that's what you get for reading my writing. Anytime I write something, I tell these guys all the time, double check
I
everything.
got to double and triple check your emails.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Last time we heard from J.D. Sursley over at Riverfront Stadium, Austin scored on a bomb right before half. So let's go out to J.D. Sursley for this halftime report as Riverside hosting Austin. J.D.
Yeah, Riverside 26, Austin 20 at halftime, and Austin's game plan methodically wasting every second before hiking. Since Riverside can score at any given time, it's actually benefited them, and they're keeping it close. In a way, against the big brother, so they got them exactly where they wanted, technically, at halftime. Derek Vasquez, the leading quarterback for Riverside, he has 98 yards passing and then 25 yards on the ground with 3 total touchdowns. Noah Ramirez, the running back, has 39 yards with 1 touchdown. Carlos Rojas, the freshman stud, a 75-yard bomb touchdown. And then on the opposite side, Ruben Bustillos, 88 yards with 1 touchdown. Anakin Torres, which you mentioned that he threw that beautiful touchdown at the end before the half to Matthew Felix, the wide receiver, for 37 yards. And then Oscar Torres, they've been doing this misdirection running back, everyone in the back, and it's been hurting Riverside. They don't know who to hit or who to cover. And Oscar Torres channeling his Jerome Bettis, looking like the bus, with 74 yards on his own with his 32-yard touchdown. We definitely have a good game, and we'll see what happens later in the second half. But yeah, it's Riverside 26, Austin 20.
Bo, a lot of familiar names I hear spat out there by JD. Anakin Torres, of course, son of your friend and mine. Paul Torres, the last PA announcer for the El Paso Diablos when they were affiliated, when they still belonged to the D-backs. I think that was 2003. So anybody who was at the Randy Johnson game, you were listening to Anakin's dad, Big Paul Torres, belting out the goings-on at Cohen Stadium that night. The other one, Andres Andujo, terrific receiver, son of Jose Andujo, the Bowie Andujos, except for little brother Jose, who made the mistake of transferring to Jefferson. I think there was almost a riot on that side of town back then. Maybe that's why he's out at Austin with former Bowie assistant Eric Pichard, though, now. So names from the past. It's always fun connecting guys from 20 years ago to the guys we're seeing right now.
Paul McKinnon's on board when he's referencing the Andujos from Bowie and Jeff. Let's head out to Bill Kuhn over at R.R. Jones Stadium. What a game between the Burgess Mustangs and the El Paso High Tigers. This game at half. Let's go out to Bill for an update. Bill.
We are at halftime at R.R. Jones Stadium. It is Burgess Mustangs 34, El Paso High Tigers 27. Devin Mata, right before halftime, runs it in for a 1-yard run for Burgess to give him the 34 points. The extra point was good. Both sides of the field, they've missed 1 field goal, so one extra point. So, that's been the only downfall that Burgess has had today. Caleb Hanna, 19 carries in the first half, 212 yards. That's the story here at R.R. Jones Stadium is Caleb Hanna for Burgess. Devin Mata for Burgess has 2 touchdowns also for Burgess Mustangs. On the other side of the ball, even though El Paso has got 9 penalties in the first half and 3 turnovers, they're only 7 points down, and they get the ball after halftime. Pablo Gonzalez has 4 catches with 63 yards for El Paso High and 2 touchdowns. So, middle of halftime here at R.R. Jones Stadium, it is your Burgess Mustangs 34, El Paso Tigers 27.
All right, Bill, thank you so much. What a game there. Burgess, once again, looking for their first victory of the season, coming into this one 0-7 overall. El Paso High almost stunned Andress 2 weeks ago, but looking like they could be the part of a stunning loss tonight at home to the Burgess Mustangs. Once again, let's head out to our new reporter, Angel Torres, over at Emperor Stadium Horizon, hosting Isleta. Let's get our halftime report from Angel. Angel, take it away.
We are still at halftime where Isleta leads 28-7. Isleta quarterback Evan Martinez has thrown for 2 touchdown passes and has run for another after missing Isleta's big victory over Bel Air a couple of weeks ago. Horizon was able to score when Robert Rodriguez hit Ezekiel Bonilla for a 28-yard touchdown pass early in the first quarter, but that's the only thing that Horizon has been able to muster. Once again, we're still at halftime where Isleta leads Horizon 28-7.
And, Bo, this just in from our Brandon Cohn. Zarian Quarles, a 93-yard touchdown run as Pebble Hills, I think they've officially put their mark on this one. 35-7 over Franklin headed to half.
93-yard touchdown. Wow, that's going to be a short report or one-sided report from Brandon Cohn at halftime. Once again, Pebble Hills leading Franklin 35-7, that in the second quarter. We'll run through all of our scores after this break. We got an exciting night plus a stunner to talk about earlier today, and we'll recap that exciting Eastwood-Montwood game. That's coming up next. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. What a night in high school football. We just went through our high school football halftime reports. Let's get you an updated, once again, second quarter. Pebble Hills leads Franklin 35-7. It's been all Pebble Hills, especially in this second quarter, really pulling away from the Cougars. At halftime in our 915 Tours Game of the Week, Canutillo and Chapin tied up at 14. At the half, Parkland leads Bel Air 24-21. Del Valle leading Hanks 28-3. Riverside up on Austin 26-20. Burgess leading El Paso High at the half 34-27. Andress leading Jefferson in the third quarter 21-0. And Isleta leading Horizon at halftime 28-7. In the nightcap at the Student Activities Complex, El Dorado leads Socorro 21-7. That game in the second quarter. And earlier today in 6A, the shocker of the day, Coronado defeated Americus 28-24, scoring a touchdown with 30 seconds to go. Coronado topping Americus. Blazers fall to 4-3 in district. At the half, Bowie leads San Elizario 35-0. Monahans defeated Fabens. This is a final 72-7. Monahans over the Wildcats. Also a final in overtime. Pecos come back to score 27-21. Pecos defeats Clint in overtime. Late second half, Fort Stockton leading Mountain View 38-14. Also in the Land of Enchantment, Hobbs leading Oregon Mountain 34-3. Roswell over Mayfield 28-0. Centennial leading Alamogordo 28-7. And at the half, St. Michael's leads Cathedral 20-10. Let's go out to an update to Brandon Cohn. Get a big update from the 6A game, Pebble Hills and Franklin. Brandon, what do you got for us?
1:48 left here in the first half. Pebble Hills 42-7 over Franklin. I'll tell you what, at 5:20 mark here of the second, Ochoa throwing his fourth touchdown of the first half. It was a 12-yard TD toss to his running back, Zarian Quarles. PAT was good, making the score Pebble Hills 28-7 over Franklin. Then at the 3:51 mark of the first half, Pebble Hills running back Quarles, a 93-yard touchdown run straight up the middle. Kid is as fast as lightning. The PAT was good, 35-7 Franklin. Then at the 1:48 mark of the second, Torres, a 69-yard touchdown pass, wide open. Torres again in the middle of the field. PAT was good. Pebble 42-7 over Franklin. Ochoa, amazing first half. The UTEP commit 9 of 13, 226 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns. Zacharias Quarles, this kid's been amazing too. 6 attempts, 127 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, 193-yard touchdown, and a touchdown reception. Marcus Torres, 4 receptions, 158 yards, 3 touchdown receptions. $1:35 left here in the opening half, and it's all Pebble Hills 42-7 over Franklin.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Wow. What a game by the Pebble Hill Spartans, really showing up after a close game last week over Montwood, 16-14.
Yeah, and they say iron sharpens iron, and I think that game did that. 16-14, another classic puncher boxer kind of contest. Pebble pounding it down the field between Corals and Ochoa, 200 yards on the ground as they come away with a 16-14 win. Franklin's going to lose this game. I hate to tell any of the Cougars fans out there, halftime 35-7 they trail. They're going to fall to 3-3 in this district into a tie with Eastlake for 5th. Coronado a game behind them with the big W over Americas in the 4 p.m. kick, 2-4, and Americas with that loss, they're 4-3, so a half game ahead, but still 3 losses in a win column. So you have Eastwood cruising along at 6-0, 2 games to play in the season. Montwood and Pebble Hills will actually move into sole possession with the win. A couple more quarters against Franklin, they'll move to 5-2. Montwood still 4-2. They've only lost to the good teams. They lost to Pebble, they lost to Eastwood, the teams that are either tied with them or above them. And then, as I said, America's 4-3, Eastlake and Franklin tied at 3-3. Right below that, currently sitting in 5th place. 1-6A is going to be fun right down to the end. Oh, by the way, from the frying pan into the fire, Franklin gets done with Pebble Hills tonight. Where do they go? Trooper Stadium in a week to face the undefeated Eastwood.
That's 6A for you. Nothing like a gauntlet of really good teams. Speaking of that, El Dorado now leading Socorro 21-7. That in the second quarter. That's the nightcap at the Student Activities Complex. Also in the second half, I should say, Bowie now up on Santa Lazario 42-0. And St. Michael's gets a touchdown in the middle of the third quarter. They now lead Cathedral 27-10. But speaking of 6A, the gauntlet of teams, what a game last night between Eastwood and Montwood. Eastwood comes out victorious 48-41, earning them a share of the district title already.
And what a terrific game. One of those games, the thing you enjoy about seeing teams like those get on the field, it's not about mistakes. This guy dropped this pass, or this guy was running down the sidelines and he just dropped it. And no, that doesn't happen in this game. This is about teams making plays. I'll give you the short version. Eastwood led this one 13-0 early. Montwood bounced right back. Eastwood takes a 27-20 lead into halftime. Diego Oaxaca was huge for Montwood. Max Mancia equally big for the Eastwood Troopers. I won't quantify it at the moment. Montwood first drive, Caleb Alvarez, a 17-yard touchdown on a little roll left pass with 10-10 left in the third quarter. That knotted things at 27, but that's when that Mancia guy came back. One of the darndest runs to clean it up for radio. This guy makes 3 extremely hard cuts. Short kid, low center of gravity. Think about that Deuce Vaughn kid with the Cowboys. I don't know how you cut that hard and keep all your tendons where they belong. 13-yard run, 7:42 left in the quarter. Eastwood takes the 34-27 lead. They knock it up to 41-27 when the quarterback, Evan Mijares, takes it in from 4 yards out. 4:43 left in the quarter, but right back, a little bubble to the right side. Gio Varela catches it. The D-back falls down. He goes 68 yards down the right sidelines. 41-34 now. Oaxaca has a 55-yard punt return. Montwood has it first and goal at the Eastwood 4-yard line, but that Eastwood defense somehow stands up. A little quarterback sack, and based on last week, I know you weren't around, Bo, but we now know that Montwood does not kick field goals. They had a shot at a 26-yarder with about a minute and a half left on the clock. Chose to go for it on 4th and 8 instead, and rolled craps, as they would say. Lose that one 16-14. See what you miss when you're out of town?
I guess so.
So no go-ahead score there. Eastwood holds them back, but a few plays later, the one mistake, Mancia gets hit. He fumbles. Montwood takes control at the Eastwood 36-yard line, and Diego Oaxaca, their starting quarterback, Claudius, was injured a week ago, second quarter versus Pebble. So Oaxaca, playing all over the place, had a ton of catches, but they're also using him at running back. 13 balls for 124 yards through the air for Oaxaca, but also running back takes it in from a yard out with 8:38 left to play. The game again knotted at 41 all, and that's when the Eastwood Trooper offense did what it has done all season. For whatever reason, they just seem to have a clutch gene. Remember, I said this was the short version. Down the field they go between Mijares and Max Mancia. And eventually it's Mijares who, wow, you want to talk about some speed. Quarterback keep. Well, actually a huge play on 3rd and long. Little quarterback delay. Just sits back there and all of a sudden picks up 18 yards on a 2nd and 15 after a holding penalty. And one play later, quarterback keep again, goes around the right side. And once he plants his foot and turns the corner along the right sidelines, it's just like he's got a jet engine in his back. Evan Mijares goes 23 yards for the score. 4:45 left in the contest. Plenty of time for the Montwood Rams, who, by the way, Michael Southern completed his first 9 passes of the game, was 18 for 20 at halftime, and he does what he did all night. He takes Montwood right down the field. Personal foul penalty helps, but they get down in plus territory, and they look to throw the slant to Caleb Alvarez. Made a lot of big catches for the Montwood Rams this year at big times, but this time he runs the slant. The sophomore cornerback Jaden James undercuts the route and just takes a sharper angle to the ball. Not a poorly thrown ball, not an awful route from Alvarez. Like I said, just a tremendous play from the sophomore cover corner. Makes a diving interception at the 6-yard line. A little more Mancia and Mijares. 1 first down, got the rest of Pebbles. Timeouts. And it was time to take some knees. And the Eastwood Troopers, as they've done all season long, it's like they're on a rickety bridge every week. And this time it was Jaden James. The El Dorado game, there was a pick 6 late in that one when Dorado's driving the field. They just find a way. And the Eastwood Troopers did it again to stay undefeated. 7-1 for the season. Their only loss was week 1 to South Lake Carroll. By the way, the only other team with 7 straight wins. Your Bowie Bears.
There you go, Bowie. And once again, Bowie up on Sentinel 42-0 now. But speaking of 6A, what this does with Americus losing earlier today to Coronado, it's going to be a dogfight for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th playoff spots in 6A.
Yeah, I think a good team is maybe like last year. Americus got knocked out, in a playoff tiebreaker. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2019, so they're definitely hungry. That was Aaron Dumas, his junior year, 3,184 yards, I think, city record for that kid. But, they're hungry, but there's a lot of other hungry teams, including the Coronado Thunderbirds. Where would they be if they were able to hang on to their quarterback, Owen Levesque, all season long? The big upset over a good America's team at the SAC today with a sophomore wide receiver who's playing quarterback, by the way, getting a little bit better and better each week, and maybe that has something to do with Coronado's better production.
In what could have been their 1-point win over Franklin in the Sun Bowl.
Should have been. They were the better team that night. I saw that game.
Absolutely. So, once again, Coronado can even make a name for itself as a spoiler in 6A. And then you look at the other teams right now, the way Pebble Hills is playing, putting it to Franklin tonight. Pebble Hills could be the 2nd-best team in 6A right now. And maybe Montwood might say something a little bit about that, too. So.
Montwood's terrific. I've seen both of their losses last week in this. They're a terrific team. Michael Southern just gets better and better. And as always, I love their receiving core. Defense pretty good, but by the way, the Eastwood offensive line, man, they created some space last night. Max Mancia having the kind of game he did. Every time he's getting the ball, wow, 33 carries, 206 yards, 4 touchdowns for Max Mancia. Yeah, a little oversight. Maybe should have mentioned that. Rudy Garcia, a guy who played only a couple of games a year ago, 7 catches, 148 yards, the first touchdown of the game, 49-yard seam route. It's just amazing to me, last thing on Eastwood, that Eastwood replaces virtually everyone from a year ago, skill-wise, except your quarterback, Mijares, your terrific running back, Max Mancia. And I think it shows you how important those two guys are, where you can just bring in a bunch of the other guys, but the receiving core for guys who weren't even getting on the field last year. Fabian Pinaloza, the Luana guy. I didn't see it coming. I don't know how Julio Lopez pulled this together.
It's a culture Julio Lopez, head coach, has built there. They went 3 rounds deep in the playoffs last year, and that culture has crept in. New guys step up, and they're getting it done. And they got it done last night, 48-41 over the Montwood Rams. Eastwood earning a share of the district title. Hey, let's go back out. We're going to take a break. Go back out to our 915 Tours game of the week. Canateo and Chapin, according to Steve Escajeda, going into the 4th quarter. No score in the 3rd, so still tied at 14. 14, heading into the fourth quarter in our 915 Tours Game of the Week. We'll head out there and much more next. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Week 9 Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. We've got a battle going down at Irvin Memorial Stadium. Tony Shaw Field has seen some great ones over the years and maybe another one tonight. Undefeated Canutillo, undefeated in district, against Chapin, also undefeated in district. No score in the third quarter, so we're still tied up at 14. Let's head out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week and get an update from Steve Escajeda. Steve.
Well, we almost had a score. We're at 6:44 and counting here in the fourth quarter. It is still Canutillo 14, Chapin 14. Chapin just drove the ball deep into Canutillo territory on third down, couldn't convert, so they tried a short 28-yard field goal by the very competent Ivan Dominguez. The kick was up, and it was blocked by Canutillo, and that set them up right now. In fact, Canutillo has the ball on their own 27-yard line, looking at about a 3rd and 4. They're going to go ahead and run it here, and they did get the first down to their own 33-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 from there. 6:08 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Again, it's been a great ball game all throughout. We do have one little update. Kerry Wade, 11 carries, 163 yards for Chapin, did get hurt during their last drive. He got hit on the sideline. He was limping rather noticeably, and in fact, he has not returned. He didn't return for that last series. So I don't know if he's going to be out for the bowl game or not, but yeah, he didn't look too good. But at least he was working on his own power. So we'll see what Canutillo does here. We've got 5 minutes, 5:30 and counting. They've got the ball second down and about 8 yards to go from their own 37-yard line. 5:30 to go. Chapin 14, Canutillo 14.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Down to the wire. Steve Escajeda on the call at Irvin Memorial Stadium. Chapin and Canutillo tied at 14. Speaking of game that's not tied, out in 6A, Pebble Hill scored 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, rolling out to a 42-7 halftime lead. For this halftime report brought to you by Prep One, let's go out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn. Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. An offensive frenzy by the Pebble Hill Spartans in the first half here as they lead 42-7 over Franklin. Some stats, Gael Ochoa, what an evening so far. This is just the first half, 9 of 13, 226 yards through the air, 5 touchdown passes. And, of course, one of their stars is running back / wideout tonight, Ziarian Quarles. Quarles, 6 carries, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has a receiving touchdown and an unbelievable 93-yard touchdown run here in the first half. Also, their wideout, Marcus Torres, what a first half. 4 receptions, 158 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For Franklin, they had one good play in the first half, and that was their quarterback, Shea Smith. He's 4 of 10 for 70 yards. He did have a 69-yard keeper, so that was definitely the highlight. He's got 15 carries, 102 yards on the ground. It's been a long night, though, for the Cougars, as Pebble Hill's really showing that they have an amazing offense, especially led by their quarterback and UTEP commit Gael Ochoa. It's halftime here at Cougar Stadium, and it's all Pebble Hills in this key 6-8 battle as the Spartans have a 42-7 edge over the Franklin Cougars.
All right, Brandon Cohn from Cougar Stadium. Brandon, thank you very much. 42-7, Pebble Hills over Franklin. Big game between the Parkland Matadors and the Bel Air Highlanders. Bel Air getting a very important touchdown right before halftime. For an update, let's go out to Adrian Tellis at Matador Stadium. Adrian.
Boy, it's a crazy start to the second half. On the opening drive for Parkland, Anthony Carrillo's previous ankle injury only allowed him to carry the ball 2 times for 6 yards. He stepped out of that series. At the end of the first series for Parkland, quarterback Eric Ortiz suffered an apparent shoulder injury. So right now we're waiting on see if he'll be coming back onto the field. But right before I got on this call right now, Bel Air scores on a Moreno pass to Davis for 15 yards. So right now your score is Bel Air 28, Parkland 24. On the kickoff, Bel Air attempts an onside kick and recovers the onside kick. So right now, Bel Air has the ball. Pass is completed to number 4, Oscar Martinez. That's going to set up a 3rd and 7 for for the Highlanders. So your score right now, boys, in this crazy start to the second half, is 3:25 left. Your score, Bel Air 28, Parkland 24.
Big momentum shift in Adrian. Thank you very much. Paul, big momentum shift before halftime. Bel Air gets that touchdown to make it a 3-point game instead of a 10-point Parkland lead. Out of the gate, second half, score a touchdown, get an onside kick. You're feeling the momentum here and everything sway in Bel Air's favor.
And I asked, at the start of this whole thing, which Bel Air are we going to get? Are we going to get the Bel Air from a couple of weeks ago that put up 28 points in the third quarter? Or are we going to get the Isleta game from 2 weeks ago, where they didn't score until I think the fourth quarter? I think it's the former rather than the latter. This has turned into a terrific game.
Absolutely. Once again, Bel Air taking the lead, third quarter, 28-24 over Parkland. Let's head out to Conquest Stadium. Del Valle hosting Hanks, and Joey Panisi is getting an update because this one has been all Del Valle. Joey, what do you got for us?
Well, it's still all Del Valle from Conquest Stadium. We're just underway. First play of the second half. Hank takes over. It's 28 for Del Valle. Hanks has 3. We've been asking around the press box about star running back from Del Valle, Shelton Fuller. He will not be returning to the game for the second half, and so everybody's hoping and praying that he's going to be okay. We're not quite sure what the injury is, but I know Rudy Contreras, coach from Del Valle before the game, said that he's actually the heart and soul of the offense because if you don't stop him on the run, he's going to kill you. He's averaging 100 yards a game, and he's got 10 touchdowns up to this particular point in the season. So people aren't giving Del Valle enough credit for their defense, but they are really stingy. I've had the chance to watch Hanks play twice this season, and their offense is for real. So I know they're hoping to get something going. They're hoping to get Jude Blanco, their star receiver, 12 TDs up to this point in the year with almost 1,200 yards, 160 yards per game. They're hoping to get him involved, so we'll see what's going to happen. So now with 10:55 left in the third quarter, it's Del Valle 28, Hanks 3.
All right, Joey Panisi, the call from Conquest Stadium, 28-3, Del Valle over Hanks. Joey, thank you very much. Oh, fun one between the Riverside Rangers and the Austin Panthers. A lot on the line between these two undefeated district teams. Let's go out to J.D. Sursley for an update. J.D., take it away.
10 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That third quarter flew by like Superman. Nice deflection. A pass interference on Riverside. The flag just went out, so technically Austin should have the ball in the goal at the red zone. So it is 26 Riverside, Austin 20. Nothing since halftime, but Ruben Pastillos out of the third quarter was running really good. Then Austin ended up going for it on fourth down, which failed. I honestly would have taken the points because you have Austin or Riverside on their heels. But with that pass interference, Austin's knocking on the door in the red zone and could possibly tie it and take the lead. So Riverside 26, Austin 20, 10:41 left in the fourth quarter.
All right, J.D. Sursley, thank you so much. So no scoring between Austin and Riverside in that third quarter, sticking around with that halftime score, 26-20, Riverside leading Austin now in the fourth quarter. Hey, Burgess and El Paso was a slugfest in the first half. There were, let me see this, 61 points scored between the two teams in the first half. Burgess holding on to a 7-point halftime lead. For an update in the second half, let's go out to Bill Kuhn at R.R. Jones Stadium. Bill.
3:21 left in the third quarter. It is Burgess 42, El Paso Tigers 27. Both teams got the ball in the second half, and both teams threw an interception. Second possession that Burgess had drove down the field with a 37-yard run by Luke Dexter Quinn for a touchdown for Burgess. They went for a 2-point conversion, really kind of ugly little conversion, but threw it over to the left side of the field, and number 20, Diego Diaz, runs it in for a 2-point conversion. So with 3 minutes, 14 seconds left here at R.R. Jones Stadium, It is Burgess Mustangs 42, El Paso Tigers 27.
All right. Bill, thank you so much. What a game there. 42-27 between Burgess leading El Paso High. Let's get an update between Isleta and Horizon. This one's been all Isleta in this game. Let's go out to a new reporter, Angel Torres, for an update. Angel.
Remaining in the fourth, with 9:26 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Isleta Indians lead the Horizon Scorpions 41-7. Isleta began the second half showcasing running back Michael Castro. On the first possession, he ran for a 14-yard touchdown. He followed it up by taking another handoff 36 yards to the house for his third rushing touchdown of the game. So with 9:26 remaining in the fourth quarter, Isleta is all over Horizon 41-7.
All right, Angel, thank you so much. We got a real-time update from our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Let's head back out to Irvin's Memorial Stadium. Chapin hosting Canutillo. Let's go Steve Escajeda for an update. Steve.
We've got 1:32 left to go in the ball game, and this game is tied no more. Canutillo scoring on a Jeremiah Knox 20-yard run to make it 21-14. Again, 1:32 left to go in the ball game. That's Knox's second touchdown run of the ball game to go along with a touchdown pass. So they just had the kickoff, the ensuing kickoff. Chapin will have the ball at their own 25-yard line, 1st and 10, a minute 32 to go in this one. And again, this is battle for first place in District 158, Division 1, all coming down to this one drive here for the Chapin Huskies.
Fantastic, Steve.
1:32 to go.
All right, Steve Escajeda from Irvin Memorial Stadium. Chapin now getting the ball, a minute and a half to go, down by a touchdown to Canutillo. This is going to be a fun one.
And, we talked about the puncher, versus the boxer. Well, the boxer's got the ball now. You got all those skill guys. The only, I would say, bugaboo, you've had the other quarterback who's a good throwing quarterback, the Rivera kid. Tonight you've been using Singleton, who is an ultra-talented runner, with the Wade kid who's been out hurt, so now maybe Singleton a little on his own. This might be a time where you want to throw the ball up the field and have a receiver like Davion Singleton out there to catch it. You will see if Clint. Wow, all the C's. See if Chapin makes any adjustments, in crunch time to move the ball quickly down the field instead of trying to run it. Sounds like Singleton's all by himself. Remember, Savion Jordan, I think Steve Escajeda reported earlier, didn't play last week against Burgess and not playing against again tonight. I think he's off the team.
We're going to take a quick break, head back out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Chapin hosting Canutillo. We'll be right back. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night. Let's head directly to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Canutillo and Chapin. Canutillo holding on to a slim 21-14 lead. Minute to go. Steve Escajeda at Irvin Memorial Stadium. Steve, take it away.
Thanks a lot, bro. We've got 18 seconds to go. 17. This one's going to run out, and Canutillo is about to win this ball game, 21-14. Chapin got close here on this final drive. They got down to the Canutillo 38-yard line. On the next play, quarterback Davion Singleton went for the whole thing, went to the end zone, threw it in there, and it was intercepted, and that pretty much sealed it for the Canutillo Eagles. Again, they win, and they take over first place in District 158, Division 1. They are now 3-0 in the league, 6-2 overall, while Chapin falls to 2-1 and 5-3. I'll go ahead and give you some quick final stats in the ball game before I leave here. Again, the final Canutillo 21, Chapin 14. Canutillo was led on rushing by their backup quarterback, Matthew Gasca, 8 carries, 56 yards. Their starting quarterback, Jeremiah Knox, 8 out of 9 in the ball game for 163 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a couple other scores. For Chapin, they were led on the ground. What a duel. Kerry Wade, 163 yards on the night. Davion Singleton, 18 carries, 149 yards on the night, and a touchdown. Singleton didn't throw it very well, 3 out of 11 for 40 yards. When you have legs like him, you don't really have to. And that's about it for the ball game for them. 383 yards total for Chapin. 343 of those came on the ground. For Canutillo, 168 on the through the air, 131 on the ground for 294 total. So it's all over here at Irvin. Great ball game. Canutillo comes back and wins it 21-14 here from Irvin Stadium.
All right, Steve Escajeda, our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Canutillo holds on, gets a late touchdown, and then a late interception to seal the deal. Canutillo defeats Chapin 21-14. We've got another touchdown over at Matador Stadium. Let's head out to Adrian Tellis for an update on Parkland hosting Bel Air. Adrian.
Boys, the last time we spoke, Bel Air now capitalized on that onside kick. It's the end of the third quarter with your score, Bel Air 35, Parkland 24. Noah Moreno was able to connect with Oscar Martinez for a 26-yard passing touchdown. Bel Air once again attempts another onside kick, but Parkland recovers. Now, good news and bad news. Good news is Anthony Carrillo, running back for Parkland, is back in the game. However, the quarterback, Eric Ortiz, is out of the game. I take that back. Parkland's going back onto the field right now to start the fourth quarter, and Eric Ortiz is back in the game. So right now, Parkland has the ball at the Bel Air 14. Anthony Carrillo limping for a 1-yard run. Going to set up 2nd and 9 for the Matadors. So correction, boys, Eric Ortiz and Anthony Carrillo are back in this game. So it's going to be an interesting fourth quarter. Your score, Bel Air 35, Parkland 24.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much for that call. 35-24, here comes Bel Air. Paul, let's go back to our game of the week, Canutillo. Getting it done late, Jeremiah Knox, touchdown with 1.5 minutes to go. And then the defense, Scott Brooks staple as the Canutillo head coach. Defense comes up big, interception in the end zone to seal the deal.
And they do it without that L.J. Martin kid. I mean, Canutillo was, L.J. Martin. And, I saw him beat Paladuro 28-zip last year, and it was, L.J. Martin. If L.J. Martin's not moving the ball, Canutillo's not moving the ball. But also, a little more under the radar, what a terrific sophomore class Canutillo had last year. A lot of them on the defensive side of the ball. The Eddie Carrillos, the Dave Alvarados, the Dave Aguilars. They're dripping in talent. I've said it a few times already. Talked to Coach Brooks at the back end of that game, and he said, hey, those sophomores are the reason I'm sticking around for another couple of years. So L.J. Martin, terrific player. He's gone. There's still some talent left behind, and Canutillo showed it. What a huge win tonight. On the road, a lot of big road wins today. I'm thinking of Coronado at the same time out at the SAC and that 4 p.m. kick. 28-24 over Americas. A lot of teams strapping it on and getting it done, when the odds are stacked against them.
Absolutely. So, big win for Canutillo over Chapin. Virtual district title there, and what really is a kind of an elimination game. I mean, Canutillo really rolling tonight. Big fourth quarter for the Eagles over the Huskies. We have a couple other finals to report. Once again, Monahans defeats Fabens 72-7. Fort Stockton defeats Mountain View 38-21. And in overtime, Pecos comes back to defeat Clint 27-21. Earlier today, Coronado defeated Americus 28-24. That was the early game at the SAC. We also have a final. Andress defeats Jefferson 29-0. And once again, Canutillo defeats Chapin 21-14. Late fourth quarter, Cathedral gets a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They trail St. Michael's 34-18. That taking place over at Burgess Mustang Stadium. 7 minutes to go in that one. Once again, Cathedral trails St. Michael's 34-18. Bowie leads San Elizario 42-0 in the fourth quarter. El Dorado leading Socorro 28-14 at the half. Late fourth quarter, Gadsden leading Santa Teresa 28-0. Sonora all over Anthony 54-20. And elsewhere, once again, Bel Air Parkland, one of the other exciting games of the night. Bel Air leading Parkland 35-24 in the third quarter. At halftime, Pebble Hills all over Franklin 42-7. Del Valle all over Hanks, last check 28-3. A fun one. Oh, we had an update.
Yeah, I was going to say updates plural. They're officially having fun out at Del Valle. Fetty hands off to Archuleta, who throws it back to Fetty, the sophomore QB, for a 25-yard touchdown reception, his first TD catch of his career. And then Jude Blanco comes right back, 33-yard touchdown catch. 4:24 left in the third quarter. Del Valle still a big 35-10 lead over the Hanks Knights.
You got it, 35-10, Del Valle over Hanks. A fun one over at Riverfront Stadium. We'll head out to J.D. Sursley in just a moment. 26-20, Riverside leading Austin at halftime. Also, in the third quarter, Burgess over El Paso High, 42-7. So, and then once again, last check, 41-7, Isleta over Horizon. I think that game just went final. We're going to head out to Angel Torres in just a little bit, get a update there from Isleta, but Isleta all over Horizon tonight. Angel on the phone? Let's go to Angel right now, get an update from Angel Torres as Horizon hosting Isleta.
Boys, we just have a score here from Parkland Stadium. Eric Ortiz with the 1-yard rushing touchdown. The Parkland Matadors go for a 2-point conversion, and it's good. So with 9:59 left in the fourth quarter, your score now, Bel Air 35, Parkland 32.
Adrian Tellis from Matador Stadium, 35-32 now. Parkland coming back into this one.
And Adrian keeps telling us about all those surprise onside kicks that the Bel Air Highlanders have been knocking. Might be time for maybe Parkland to try and slip one of those in. Doesn't surprise me, by the way, Bel Air onside kicking when you got that Martinez kid back there. 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns. All of those coming in the last couple of contests.
Absolutely. Big game between Bel Air and Parkland. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go back out, get some halftime reports. Also get back out to Brandon Cohn. Getting up the stat card for the Pebble Hills Spartans tonight at Franklin. 42-7 Pebble Hills all over Franklin. 28 points, 4 touchdowns by the Spartans in the second quarter alone over the Franklin Cougars.
Few other hot games still out there, though.
So,
yet to conclude.
We're going to get to those just a moment. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night. I'm Bo Bagley. Let's go to our Ignitify, local scoreboard Ignitify, your AC installation service provider. In our 915 Tours game of the week, Canutillo defeats Chapin 21-14. An interception in the end zone seals it for the Canutillo Eagles. In 6A, in the third quarter now, 42-7, Pebble Hills leads Franklin big. Parkland scores. It's now a 3-point game against Bel Air. Bel Air leads it in the third quarter, 35-32 at Matador Stadium. Last check, Del Valle leading Hanks 35-10. Riverside and Austin, a slugfest at Riverfront Stadium, 26-20. Riverside leading the Panthers. El Paso High gets a late touchdown. It's now a late second half. Burgess leads El Paso High 42-35. A final at Andrus Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. Andrus defeats Jefferson 29-0. And now a final from Horizon. Isleta tops Horizon 41-7. Earlier today, Coronado topped Americus 28-24. In overtime in 4A, Pecos defeated Clint 27-21. Monahans over Fabens 72-7. Fort Stockton defeats Mountain View 38-21. Up in the Land of Enchantment, it's a final. Hobbs defeats Oregon Mountain 58-10. Elsewhere, other action up in New Mexico. Roswell leading New Mexico 42-14. Centennial up on Alamogordo 35-7. Gadsden in the fourth quarter leading 28-0 over Santa Teresa. And St. Michael's and Cathedral over Burgess Mustang Stadium. It's now 34-18. St. Michael's leads the Irish late in the fourth quarter.
And they're headed to the top of the ninth in Arizona. The Diamondbacks still holding on narrowly. 6-5, they lead Philly. Last at-bats coming for the Philadelphia Phils.
Let's go to J.D. Sursley at Riverfront Stadium. Riverside hosting Austin. Get an update on this second half slugfest. J.D.
Yeah, but Riverside 29, Austin 20. Diego Padilla, the kicker for Riverside, just kicked the field goal a few minutes ago. Honestly, Austin, throughout the most of the game, has kind of outplayed Riverside. It's just the last drive, definitely, they kind of lost their head a little bit with bogus penalties and just, not playing smart ball. They just turned it over on downs because of desperation. They had to go for it. But Ruben Bastillos is well over 150 yards in the game for Austin. Riverside 29, Austin 20. 3:48 left in the fourth quarter. Riverside ball.
All right, JD, thank you very much. What a game there. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing what they can do against the Austin Panthers. A slugfest over at R.R. Jones Stadium. Let's head out to Bill Kuhn, get an update on Burgess and El Paso High. Bill.
9:14 left in the game, 9:14. As you said, it is Burgess right now 49, El Paso High 35. Let me tell you real quick how we got there. Martin Gonzalez, quarterback keeper, 1 yard run into the end zone for the touchdown for El Paso High. And then Dominic Vieira runs the ball in or catches the ball for a 2-point conversion. Luke Dexter Quinn runs it in for Burgess for a 31-yard touchdown for Burgess, and the extra point's good. So it's a slugfest out here at R.R. Jones Stadium with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It is Burgess Mustangs 49, El Paso Tigers 35.
Luke Dexter Quinn, a couple of big touchdowns. Didn't play in the game last week, and boy, did it ever hurt Burgess. He's their punt returner, and they couldn't find a guy who could catch the ball. The Chapin punter, lefty, 25 yards every time, but it was about 1.5 miles high, and you couldn't find anybody brave enough to catch it. And those things turned into a 50-yarder and another one that went all the way down to the 1 yard line. Led to the first points of the contest, a Burgess safety on an intentional grounding in the end zone. Why are they throwing out of the end zone? Because they got the ball at the 1 yard line because somebody can't catch the punt. Well, Luke Dexter Quinn is in there tonight. He's doing a lot more than catching punts, a couple of TDs. Burgess up 2 scores, looking for their first win of the season.
Absolutely. Much welcomed over at Mustang Land right now. A very tough season for the Burgess Mustangs. Speaking of tough, Brandon Cohn might have run out of space on his Pebble Hills stat sheet. Pebble Hills taking on Franklin. Let's get an update from the Iceman from Cougar Stadium. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, I've definitely run out of space. 5:07 to go here, third quarter. Pebble Hills 49-7 over Franklin. 8:44 mark here of the third. Pebble Hills' relentless scoring continues as Gael Ochoa scores on an 18-yard keeper. Ochoa, an absolute stellar evening, a career night. 10 of 16, 285 yards through the air, 9 carries, 96 yards on the ground, 6 total touchdowns. Unbelievable, and we're not even through the third quarter. 4:56 left in this contest. Pebble Hills 49-7 over Franklin.
All right, Brandon Cohn, thank you so much. Boy, Pebble Hills running away with this. This was just a 14-7 game in the first quarter. It's been all Pebble Hills since then. Speaking of a great game coming down to the fourth quarter, let's head out to Matador Stadium, get an update. Parkland hosting Bel Air. Let's go out to Adrian Tellis for an update on this one. Adrian.
Boys, to start off the fourth quarter, Parkland's DJ Nunez intercepts Noah Moreno's pass. Parkland right now has a 2nd and goal. Eric Ortiz is being pushed to the goal line, and he's stopped at the 2 yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd and goal for the Parkland Matadors with 5:49 left. Your score, Bel Air 35, Parkland 32. Boys, if you allow me to, I'd like to stay on the line with you guys. It's 3rd down, 3rd and goal.
Absolutely, Adrian. Stay on, take it away. 3rd and goal now. Set us for, you said, from the 2 yard line. Is that correct?
That is correct. So right now, Parkland's getting in the call. Anthony Carrillo's in the backfield along with Eric Ortiz. We got big number 27, Dawson, out over here, single side over here on the whiteout. Eric Ortiz for the QB sneak. Touchdown, Matadors! 5:41 left in the fourth quarter now. Parkland has taken the lead here in the fourth quarter. Your score right now, Parkland 38, Bel Air 35. Parkland's going to attempt the extra point.
Okay, this is a big extra point here. We'll put them up 4. So they are going to attempt the extra point. This is a big one here with 5 minutes to go. What a touchdown by the Parkland Matadors.
Adrian Loya attempting the extra point for the Matadors. The kick is up, and it's good. Parkland was able to capitalize on DJ Nunez's interception. Parkland drives it all the way down and scores. So your score now here in the Northeast is Parkland 39, Bel Air 35.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. We'll actually get back to you in just a moment. Keep your phone handy. What a game here, Paul. Bring in here. What a game. Parkland coming back using defense, turning it into offense. What a big fourth quarter.
Yeah, and led by a quarterback in Ortiz. Remember, this guy, quarterback, is a sophomore. As a junior, he lost his job to the Echeverria kid, who, from what I heard, didn't play football this year so he could focus on soccer. He's got to be popular around Parkland. No football. So Ortiz, again, a guy who could have sulked, he could have quit. Oh, I'm not the quarterback anymore. I'm not playing football. That could have happened last year. No, this guy, all he did was get better. And even though he was usurped for a short period last year, he comes back this year a better version of himself from a year ago, and he's leading Parkland to what could be a huge win for them. But, oh, by the way, still, 5 minutes left on the clock and an explosive Bel Air offense. They have three really nice receivers, in Davis, and Gomez has already made some plays tonight. Oscar Garcia, and Mark Mukiibi, by the way. So they can get it down the field, and, they can still go get this thing.
We got a final from Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium. The Bowie Bears improving to 7-1 with a 49-0 victory over the San Elizario Eagles tonight. So big win for the Bowie Bears, improving to 7-1, 2-0 in district.
Making that, I believe it's week 11. Week 11, Bowie Riverside. So, again, that'll be – I think Bowie gets Austin next week, if I remember the schedule correctly. So they're playing the best teams at the end. Bowie, Austin next week, and then regardless what happens there, even if Bowie has a loss, they'll be playing Riverside for, the district title. And, of course, Austin will be sniffing around as well with, possibly their one loss tonight if Riverside's able to hold on.
And another final we have from Burgess Mustang Stadium, Cathedral falls to St. Michael's 34-18. Valiant effort by the Fighting Irish, but they fall to 4-5 overall. Once again, with a 34-18 loss to St. Michael's.
Yeah, you can't lose to New Mexico, man. I think they're from the Deming area.
Santa Fe.
Oh, there you go.
Santa Fe. Good call. Yeah, it's tough. Let's head back out to, we haven't heard from Joey Panisi in quite some time. Let's go out to Joey Panisi, get an update on Delvi and Hanks. Joey.
Yes. From Conquest Stadium with 11 minutes and 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Delvi continues to dominate Hanks. The score is now 42-10. And as if Fetty wasn't a threat enough, they pulled a really cruel play. Fetty issued an inside handoff to Juan Archuleta, who sprinted around the right end, planted his foot, and then passed it back to Fetty, who scampered 26 yards for a touchdown untouched. Quick as lightning. That play should be outlawed. Then later in the quarter, with 2:02 left in the third, John Estrada caught a 6-yard touchdown pass from Fetty. So Fetty is up to 32 touchdowns on the season after missing one game. Those are some incredible numbers. Hanks is driving, and they're down to the 10-yard line of Delvi. So with 10 minutes and 32 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the score is Delvi 42, Hanks 10.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. 42-10, Delvi leading Hanks over at Conquest Stadium. We're going to head back out because it's an exciting game between the Parkland Matadors and Bel Air Highlanders. Bel Air ball down 4, couple minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Let's head back out to Adrian Tellis for an update. Adrian.
Unbelievable. So Parkland does a pooch kick. Mukibi takes the ball to the Parkland 44. On the next drive, or on the next play, Noah Moreno connects with Oscar Martinez for a 44-yard touchdown, and now Bel Air takes the lead. Right now, Oscar Martinez is down on the ground with some cramps, but right now, Bel Air has just scored. Your score right now, Bel Air is 41, Parkland 39 with 5:28 left in the fourth quarter.
Adrian, is that pending the extra point?
That is pending the extra point. That is correct, Bo. So we're pending the extra point right now. Bel Air coming back onto the field as Oscar Martinez is walking off the field. What appears to be a cramp from that 44-yard passing touchdown. So here comes Bel Air to attempt the extra point. We have Bel Air setting up for the extra point. Referees are hovering over the ball right now. Okay, whistle's blown. Here we go. Crucial extra point for the Highlanders. Pick us up.
And
It's
we
good.
have liftoff, and it's good. All
Here we
right.
go. So your score right now, Bel Air 42, Parkland 39, 528. Once again, Noah Moreno connecting with Oscar Martinez on a one-play 44-yard bomb to give the Highlanders the lead here in the fourth quarter.
All right,
Back
Adrian.
to you guys.
Thank you so much, Adrian. We'll get back out to you just shortly. And maybe one of those things, it's you hate to score too fast, but maybe Bel Air just scored too fast.
Right, and it seems ridiculous to stick around for an extra point, but remember, now Bel Air can't lose on a field goal. Adrian Loya, by the way, pretty good kicker for Parkland. He has a history of when, I think the Austin game a year ago, what was it, 10-9 or something like that. So he can make kicks in the clutch if he has to.
Another final we have from Riverfront Stadium. Riverside tops Austin 29-20. I'm going to get with producer Angel Munoz right now. If we can get out to Bill Kuhn at R.R. Jones Stadium, give him a call, please, and we'll get out there because that was it was a close game, just a 7-point game until Burgess scored midway through the fourth quarter, make it a 14-point game. Let's see if El Paso High can come back. But we'll hear from J.D. Sursley in just a moment. Big win for the Riverside Rangers, setting up a little showdown here. Riverside and Bowie in a couple of weeks for the district title.
Yeah, and again, another district that's exciting because you do have Riverside, you have Austin, and you have Bowie, who just won their 7th straight game tonight. All of these districts, especially coming down to the last couple of weeks, just a lot of intrigue, whether it's at the top or we've been talking a lot about Burgess El Paso tonight. It's going to be a good night for the Burgess Mustangs looking like. Bill Kuhn will tell us that. But teams battling for playoffs at the bottom, those games are equally exciting.
Absolutely, equally exciting over at R.R. Jones Stadium. Let's head out to Bill Kuhn, get an update on El Paso High hosting Burgess. Bill.
7:02 left in the game. It is Burgess 55, El Paso High 35. How we got here was really easy. Ball came out to Devin Mata for a 2-yard run into the end zone. The extra point was no good for Burgess. It's gone from good game to, oh my gosh, what's going on the game? El Paso High has the ball with 7 minutes left in the game, but they're not doing much on offense right now. So with 6 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game, it is Burgess 55, El Paso High 35.
So you go 0-7 on the season. Looks like you're going to get a game tonight. Although 0-7, I guess you can never cinch it until it's all over. But they win another game. These Burgess Mustangs could be going to the playoffs. No, by the way, the thing that'll be awaiting them or whomever finishes the 4th in this district, Wichita Falls Rider. Big win over Abilene Wiley last week. So you talk about David versus Goliath.
Very much so. We'll have our out-of-town scoreboard in just a little bit. So a 20-point lead for Burgess in the fourth quarter. Looks like they're going to pick up a victory at R.R. Jones Stadium. Let's head out to Angel Torres at Horizon's Emperor Stadium. We have a final between Isleta and Horizon for our post-game report. Let's go to Angel Torres. Angel.
That's right. It is a final. Isleta gets to 4-4 with a 41-7 district win over Horizon, who falls to 1-7. Sophomore running back Michael Castro scored 3 rushing touchdowns, while quarterback Evan Martinez threw for 2 scores and ran for another. Like I said, final 41-7, Isleta all over Horizon.
All right, Angel, thank you so much. Big win for the Isleta Indians, now improving to 2-1 in district, 4-4 overall. Our post-game report brought to you by Boston's Pizza. Boston's Pizza is your go-to sports watching destination all season long. Stop by Boston's Pizza, located right next to Topgolf on the west side. Friendly located. You got Saturday football, Sunday NFL, UFC pay-per-view fights. You got it all. Learn more on social media by following Boston Pizza El Paso.com. Let's head back out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Big win for the Canutillo Eagles over the Chapin Huskies. We'll get out to Steve Escajeda in just a moment. Let's go to Jerry Alvarez. So we have Jerry. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to have some wrap-ups. We're going to go through our Ignitify local scoreboard. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. We've got a barn burner between Bel Air and Parkland. Let's not waste another minute. Let's head back out to Adrian Tellis at Bel Air's Parkland's Matador Stadium. Bel Air leading 42-39. Adrian, take it away.
So, boys, 3:18 left in the fourth quarter. Your score still is Bel Air 42, Parkland 39. Parkland received a kickoff. Anthony Carrillo took the ball for a 17-yard gain, but once again suffered another ankle injury. Right now, he's on the trainer's table with a bag of ice on his ankle, so he's out of the game right now. So, guys, it's 4th and 3 for the Parkland Matadors at the Bel Air 36. Fabian Cervantes is in motion. Eric Ortiz attempting a pass. Pass is completed to Cervantes. He broke it! Oh, no, he's down. He's going to be marked down at the 12-yard line. That's going to set up 1st and 10 for the Matadors at the Bel Air 12. So the chains are moving now. 3:16 left in the fourth quarter. First down, Matadors. Clock starting. Eric Ortiz handing it off to number 10, Kayla Martinez, for a 3-yard pickup. So, boys, we got 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Clock is ticking. You want me to stay on with you guys?
Yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, well, Paul and I are going to talk here. Stay on the phone here because right now, Parkland knocking on the door. Paul, it makes you believe that whoever has the ball last in this game could come out on top. It feels an awful lot like some of Bel Air's games earlier this season or last year. It could be the last one, but Parkland knocking on the door here.
Yeah, I was going to say, now that I'm down inside their 40, maybe I can start feeling like it's last team who has the ball. By the way, Parkland might have the opportunity that Montwood had last week, trailing 16-14, driving the field, getting rid of the clock, getting rid of the other team's timeouts. Only in this case, Parkland is down 3. Loya, the kicker, could only tie this thing.
Here we go.
Okay, Adrian, tell us. Take it away.
We have Kayla Martinez on the carry for a 1-yard gain. It's going to be a 4th and 6 now for the Matadors. Coach has a decision to make here. Are they going to go for it? No, they're sending out the field goal unit. Adrian Loya is going to attempt the field goal here to tie it up with 1:45 and the clock ticking here in the fourth quarter. So here we go, boys. Big field goal attempt by Adrian Loya for the Matadors. This is going to be an 18-yard attempt. Ball is on the left hash. Kick is up. And, boys, it's tied up here now at the Northeast. Your score, Bel Air 42 and Parkland 42. 1:23 left in the fourth quarter, boys. It's going to go down to the wire here as Bel Air will be receiving the kickoff here with 1:23 left in the fourth quarter.
And, Bo, it's not like Adrian Loya hasn't been here before. Multiple times. This time a 28-yard field goal. Remember I told you Montwood couldn't kick a 26-yarder. Last week they decided to go for it on 4th and 8 from the 9-yard line because they didn't have Adrian Loya on their team. Oh, by the way, though, the Joaquin Roman, the Montwood kicker, made every extra point tonight from a full 20 yards away. So maybe those extra 6 yards, I'm still thinking he should have had a crack at it. But you got to love the Loya kid. The ball, I mean, the situation seems to find him, and I can't ever remember a time. There's at least been 3 or 4 of these over the last couple of years, and he always finds a way to split the uprights.
Absolutely. Adrian, stay on the phone right there. 1.5 minutes to go. Game tied at 42.
A lot of time for Bel Air.
We're going to go back to Brandon Cohn. Iceman got an update from Franklin's Cougar Stadium. This one's been all Pebble Hills. Let's get a quick update from Brandon, then we'll go back out to Adrian. Brandon, what do you got for us? Okay then. Well, looks like we lost Brandon there, so let's head back out to Adrian Tellus, get an update, and once again, let's set the stage for you. 1.5 minutes to go, tied at 42. Parkland just kicked about a 20-yard field goal or so. Tying the game at 42, about to kick off to Bel Air. I don't think we're going to see another onside kick here, but let's see what we got. So let's go back out to Adrian Tellus at Matador Stadium. Adrian.
You guys are right. This is the first touchback of the game by Adrian Loya. All the other kickoffs have been either a squib kick or an onside kick. So Bel Air is going to begin their drive at the 25-yard line with 1:23 left in the fourth quarter. Here come the Matadors taking the field now. Give you guys a quick update. Noah Moreno right now is 23 for 31 with 297 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. So here we go, boys. First and 10 for the Highlanders. Moreno's pass is complete to number 4, Oscar Martinez. That is going to be a Bel Air first down. That's a 13-yard pickup. Moreno to Martinez. First and 10, Highlanders. Ball's going to be placed at the 37-yard line. Clock ticking, 1:13 left in the fourth. Moreno's running to the left. Passes. Pass was almost intercepted by Parkland's number 13, Fabian Cervantes. Second and 10 for the Highlanders. That was so close. That pass seemed to be intercepted by Fabian Martinez. Tried keeping his feet in bounds, but just didn't have control at the end. So ball is at the 37-yard line. 1:05 left in the fourth quarter. 84 points scored tonight here, guys, in the Northeast. Moreno dropping back. Pass intended for number 1. Chris Davis is incomplete. Going to set up 3rd and 10 for the Highlanders now with 59 seconds left. And we got a Matador player down on the field. There's going to be an injury timeout. Number 4, Dante Reddy. He's up now. Lost his shoe. Coming off the field now. So clock has been stopped.
Okay, Adrian, I take it we have an injury on the field?
No, we're back on now. So we're back on. His shoe fell off. He was on the ground for a while, but now he came off the field. Play is being called in by the Highlanders. So it's going to be now 3rd and 10 for the Highlanders. Clock has started, 55 seconds and ticking now. We got three receivers to the left side of the field. Now we got a timeout.
Okay.
Timeout, Bel Air.
Okay, timeout. We're going to take it over here. Boy, what do you do here? This is in your own end zone, Paul. 3rd and long here. It's you're not connecting on your last 2 passes. It's tough for Bel Air.
I mean, this is the nice part of it, though. You're a throwing team. Every incomplete pass stops the clock. I heard Adrian say the clock started. I assume he was talking about the play clock. An incomplete pass should be still 55 seconds left in the contest. I don't know if Bel Air's used up all their timeouts yet, but they can still get it done from here. Remember, every first down, they stop the clock to move the chains for a short period. Gives you a little chance to hustle up to scrimmage. Bel Air just has to make sure, as a throwing team, that they throw the ball past the sticks or out of bounds every time. None of those little 4-yard crossing routes where a guy's going to get tackled for a 6-yard gain. That is death for the Bel Air Highlanders.
We're back on, boys. Here we go. So Noah's pass is completed to number 1, Chris Davis, for a Highlander first down. That's a 10-yard completion. The ball's going to be now placed at the 40 on the Bel Air 48-yard line. So 1st and 10 Bel Air with 53 seconds left. He's being called in now to Moreno. Still got 3 receivers to the left side of the field. Ball snapped. Pass is completed. Moreno to Martinez for another 10-yard pickup. That's going to be another Bel Air first down.
All right, let's set the stage here. Should be about 40 seconds to go. This game tied at 42. Parkland and Bel Air tied at 42 at Matador Stadium. Bel Air with the ball and driving.
That is correct, boys. So here we go now. So Bel Air calls a timeout. So get you guys cut up to speed now. Bel Air has 2 timeouts. Parkland has 2 timeouts. 42 seconds left. The ball is going to be at the 42-yard line, Parkland's 42-yard line. So we got a 1st and 10 for Bel Air. Timeout on the field.
Okay. And still some action elsewhere throughout the city. That good game out at R.R. Jones separated quite a bit, but El Paso High, Pablo Gonzalez, an 8-yard scoring pass. But Burgess still holds a, 19-point lead, 61-42, that with 1:32 left in the contest as the Mustangs look to get their first win of the year.
And last check, it was 56-14 Pebble Hills over Franklin. And we have a score from the late game at the SAC. El Dorado now up 35-21 in the third quarter over the Socorro Bulldogs. Let's head back out to Matador Stadium. Join Adrian Tellis. Bel Air and Parkland tied at 42. Less than a minute to go, and Bel Air driving for the win. Adrian, take it away.
There we go. Same connection again. Moreno to Martinez. That's going to be another Bel Air first down for 10 yards. They ran the exact same play 2 times. The 10-yard curl route by Oscar Martinez. Chains are moving. 1st and 10 Highlanders. Ball at the 32-yard line now. 30 seconds left in the game. Time is moving now. 25 seconds. 21 seconds. Ball is snapped. Moreno's pass to Martinez is incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Highlanders. 14 seconds left. Ball is at the 32-yard line.
Adrian, I take it Bel Air does not have any more timeouts left?
Bel Air has 2 timeouts.
Wow.
Parkland has 2
Didn't
timeouts.
take it there. We probably lost about 8-9 seconds.
Right, ill-advised. Still over the middle twice, quick timeouts after, field goal in the offing. No,
So here we go, boys. Same formation. We have 3 receivers to the left side of the field. Oscar Martinez down over here. On the island over here, Moreno to Davis. That's going to be a Highlander first down. First down,
Call the
Highlanders.
timeout.
Moreno to Davis. Now we have 6 seconds left on the clock. Timeout Bel Air. So, boy, it's 6 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's all tied up here, 42-42. Bel Air has taken their second timeout.
The yard line. What yard line are they on?
The ball will be placed at the 22-yard line, Bo.
Okay.
22. That's a 40-yard kick. You have 6 seconds. It has to be a quick play. That's a quick slant. Get to the ground, or you could even run the ball up the middle. You got to get to the ground, pick up 7 yards, call your timeout, and try and kick about a 32-yard field
You're
goal.
going to have to do it fast. Only 1 timeout left for the Bel Air Highlanders.
Or a go route to the end zone, and you
you
just roll those dice.
So what a game, boys. Here we go now. Highlanders offense is on the field now. No, they're going for the field goal now. They're attempting the field goal. Here we go. 6 seconds left. This is for the ball game. He'll be kicking from the 30-yard line. Here we go, boys. Timeout, Parkland.
Yeah, boy, it makes me wonder if Bel Air really does still have a timeout because, 40 yards on a Sunday afternoon in the NFL is, thank you very much. But we're talking high school. We're talking about a guy who's got to snap it. We've got a guy who's got to hold it. And we need a guy who's got the leg to kick it. 40 yards is right at the edge of even some of the better kickers in the city. Quarterback sneak, an extra 3 yards. I think if you still have a timeout, you take another crack at just trying to pick up another couple of yards. Every yard counts at this point.
I think the last...
All right, boys, I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but here we go. The ball, Osvaldo Aguirre is attempting the game-winning field goal. The ball is at the 22. Osvaldo Aguirre will be kicking from the 30-yard line. So here we go, boys. This is for the game. Snap, hold, kick is up. No good! We're going to overtime! All right, take that back. There's 1 second left on the clock. 1 second remaining on the clock. So Parkland will be taking over with 1 second left. It will be Parkland's ball at the Bel Air 22. So unless they're going to go for a Hail Mary, a jailbreak, some special play, they might be taking a knee here going into overtime.
It's got to be if you're going to do a Hail Mary, but I would think you're at home, you play for overtime. You don't want anything silly to happen. But let's make sure it goes into overtime here. Adrian,
Yes, sir.
what do you got?
So we got 1st and 10 Parkland with 1 second left. Ball's at the 22-yard line. And they will be taking a knee.
Okay, taking a knee, so the game's going to overtime. Adrian,
So
stay on the
right
phone.
now- Yes, sir.
We're going to get back to you in just a little bit. We're going to go through our final scores here. So Bel Air, Parkland going to overtime, tied at 42. What a game here. Bel Air with their shot at the end, but a 40-yard field goal is missed. We go to overtime. We have some final scores from around the area. Once again, remember our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Canutillo topped Chapin 21-14. At last check, it was 56-14 Pebble Hills over Franklin that late in the second half. Last check, Del Valle was leading Hanks 42-10. Riverside defeated Austin 29-20. Burgess, El Paso High. Do we have an update from Bill Kuhn? I think last check it was 55-35.
Yeah, I gave that a second ago. I think it was 61-34.
Okay.
Don't listen to me.
Okay, but Burgess looking like they're going to walk away with a victory there.
They're up 19, so.
Andrus topped Jefferson 29-0. It's a final. Isleta defeated Horizon 41-7. Coronado topped Americas earlier today, 28-14. El Dorado leads Socorro in the fourth quarter, 34-28. Bowie defeats San Elizario 49-0. Over down in 4A in overtime, Pecos defeated Clint 27-21. Monahans all over Fabens 72-7. And Fort Stockton defeated Mountain View 38-21. Up in the land of enchantment, Hobbs defeats Oregon Mountain 58-10. Centennial tops Alamogordo 42-21, setting up a showdown with Las Cruces next week for the district title. Las Cruces defeated Carlsbad last night 43-13. Roswell all over Mayfield 48-15. And at last check, Sonora defeated Anthony 60-26. Over at Burgess Mustang Stadium, St. Michael's defeats Cathedral 34-18.
And that Burgess El Paso game is gone final. Our Bill Kuhn tells us he'll be here along with a wrap-up after a bit. 61-42, the Mustangs hold on, get their first win of the season, their first district win to tie El Paso, which also has a district win. Andrus got their second tonight. And, of course, Canutillo sits atop the district at 3-0. Out-of-town scoreboard still to come, but just off the top, Friendship takes down Permian in Odessa tonight, Ratliff Stadium, 46-44. Second loss in the district for Permian. Legacy holds serve. And here's another one. Midland High stays undefeated, moves to 8-0, 52-28. They take care of Odessa.
All right, let's head back out to Adrian Tellis over at Matador Stadium. Get an update. Bel Air and Parkland in overtime. Adrian, take it away.
All right, boys, so here we go. Bel Air will get the ball first here to start overtime here with their score. Parkland 42, Bel Air 42. Parkland wearing their all-yellow uniforms with their black helmets. Bel Air sporting the white tops, red bottoms to their white helmets. And here we go, boys. We have trips down over here to the left side. Oscar Martinez on the island by himself. Coach Goggins out on the field talking with the white hat. Appears to be some type of confusion with the play clock. All right, here we go, boys. Here we go. Start first play of overtime. Noah Moreno receiving the call from the Bel Air sideline. Ball snapped. Moreno on the scramble. Moreno's moving around. Throws it up. Pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Highlanders. Parkland putting a lot of pressure now. Moreno running out of the pocket, but this kid can move. Seems to be more accurate when he's on the run, throwing on the run, than staying in the pocket. Right now, Moreno, guys, he's 27 for 35 tonight with 320 yards passing and 6 touchdowns with 1 interception. Oscar Martinez has 6 receptions for 147 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. And Mark Mukibi, 6 receptions, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown. So here we go. Ball snap. Moreno dropping back. Ball's up. Pass. It's caught. Touchdown Highlanders. 25-yard pass. Moreno to Martinez. And once again, guys, Martinez is down on the ground again with cramps. But, guys, that was a 25-yard pass. Moreno to Martinez. Score right now is Bel Air 48, Parkland 42, pending the extra points.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. What a play. Seems to be, and Paul bringing in here, seems to be a really big connection there between Moreno and about all of his receivers.
Right, but Martinez specifically having the big night. You keep hearing cramps. That's how desperately they need him. Yes. He can barely get out on the field and perform, but hey, get back out there, buddy. You're fine for now. Make the catch, lie down on the ground for a while. That's okay. We'll bring you back in a bit. Have a sip of Gatorade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, he's terrific. As I said, I saw these guys against Hanks, a few weeks back, and dripping in receivers. Chris Davis, terrific. Oscar Martinez, really good, and same for Mark Mugibe. Made a contested catch that was, pretty amazing. So these guys can move the ball, and boy, they did it when they needed to. Not a lot of time on the clock. Down a score, able to drive all the way down the field and get this thing to overtime.
And very big game between these two teams, likely second place in the district. I mean, Del Valle is really rolling right now, but you never know what can happen. But very big game between Bel Air and Parkland right now.
Del Valle, clearly the best of the bunch. They really handled this Parkland team, 60-something to 20-something, so almost a 40-point spread. They're the beasts, and they could probably argue, best intent. They might want to come sniffing around the Eastwoods and the Pebble Hillses of the world to see how that goes. Pebble Hills did crush Del Valle week 2, but remember that was without their sophomore future stud quarterback, Jake Fetty, out with, he got knocked a little loopy in the Burgess win week 1.
Okay, let's head back out to Adrian Tellis over at Matador Stadium. Bel Air scores first in the first overtime. Parkland Matador ball. Adrian, take it away.
So, guys, the Bel Air trainer is still working right now on Oscar Martinez cramps. But just give you guys a quick update now. That's going to put Noah Moreno now 29 for 37 for 345 yards passing and 7 touchdowns with 1 interception. Oscar Martinez now 7 receptions, 172 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. So right now we're still pinning the extra point. Your score, Bel Air 48, Parkland 42. And Oscar Martinez still down. The trainer's still working on his legs. Helmet's off right now, but they're rubbing his calves right now because it appears he's getting cramps on both legs now. So both legs are up right now, rubbing both the calves. But, guys, it's been a shootout all night. We're talking here a great game. Parkland will be getting the ball, pinning the extra point right now. We're still seeing if Anthony Carrillo for Parkland's going to go back out onto the field. He put his shoes back on. His right ankle is taped up. His left calf now is taped up. Anthony Carrillo's taking a beating for the Matadors. He's got 16 carries for 120 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, but this boy won't go down. His helmet's on, so right now when Parkland gets the ball, we'll see if Anthony would go out there with Eric Ortiz in the backfield.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much. We're going to do a quick update from the Pebble Hills Franklin game. Once again, remember, it was a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Pebble Hills bus was a little late. This game's still going on right now. Looks like maybe Franklin, maybe not, rather Pebble Hills not shown up. Let's go out to Brandon Combe for a quick update on Pebble Hills and Franklin. Brandon.
Yeah, it's a final here as it's all Pebble Hills, 56-14 over Franklin. Pebble Hills improving to 7-2, 5-2 in 1-6A, 3 in a row now, and they're 4th in 1-6A. Just have to mention Gael Ochoa, career night, 12 of 20, 327 yards, 10 carries, 100 yards, 6 total TDs. It's a final in Far West El Paso. How about this? Pebble Hills 56-14 over Franklin.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for that post-game report brought to you by Boston's Pizza. We'll see you over at Boston's Pizza, located on the west side right by Top Golf. It's our high school football hangout, Saturday college football hangout, Sunday football hangout, maybe Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday football hangout, whenever you want. Let's go back to Adrian Tellis. Parkland and Bel Air in overtime. Adrian, take it away.
So here we go, boys. Osvaldo Aguirre for the extra point. Oh, it's Moss. It was a bad snap. Mark Mukibi had to pick up and run the ball. So the extra point is no good. So now your score is going to be Bel Air 48, Parkland 42.
Okay, Bel Air scores. There was an injury, so they're taking some time to get the PAT off. PAT comes on after a lengthy delay, and Bel Air misses the PAT. Parkland will still get the ball, but now Bel Air only up 6, 48-42.
And this is the big advantage of going second in overtime, the first overtime. You know what the other guys did already. You know what? They went and scored a touchdown. You know what it tells me and tells my offense? Everything is 4-down territory now. Mm-hmm. We have 4 downs to pick up 10 yards. to get inside the 15 and another first down, and then we got 4 more downs. And if we can find a way to push it in, all we're going to have to do is kick an extra point to come away with a victory in this one. So Parkland gave up a TD, but they got to be licking their chops.
Okay, Adrian, tell us, what do you got for us?
That's it. First play for Parkland. Anthony Carrillo receives a handoff from Eric Ortiz. Anthony Carrillo fumbles the ball, and it's over, boys. That's your final. It's going to be Bel Air 48, Parkland 42 on Anthony Carrillo's fumble. And that's your ball game, boys, from the Northeast. What a game.
Wow.
What a game here in 1-5A. That's going to give Bel Air their second win in district, putting them 2-1, and Parkland's going to drop now to 1-2. So, boys, that's your final. Bel Air 48, Parkland 42 on Anthony Carrillo's fumble on the first play for Parkland in overtime. Boys, what a game.
All right, Adrian, tell us. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear about some of these stats that you might have. We'll come back for a post-game report in just a few minutes. What a game. What an ending for Parkland at home. Heartbreaker if you're a Parkland Matador fan. First possession in overtime for the Matadors. Very first play. Fumble, and that's your ball game.
And sometimes being valiant, isn't enough. You had 2 guys going at it. Oscar Martinez, 4 touchdown catches tonight. Of course, the winner in overtime, a 25-yarder, the eventual game winner. But it seemed like every time he was catching the football, making a play, had to lie down on the field, and they could come over and rub out his cramps and take him off the field. By the same token, on the other side, Anthony Carrillo, the stud running back for Parkland, been struggling through an ankle injury all night long. They're taping him. He'll run a couple of times. He's got to hobble off the field. So he's been a work in progress. And as I said, sometimes being valiant, not enough. Carrillo had enough want to, but ball in his hands, good Bel Air defense. Somebody gets a hand in there, strips that thing away, and actually whoever recovers it, that's the game winner right there. Martinez was just the appetizer, I guess, to the main course.
Hey, we've got finals all over town. Del Valle defeats Hanks 48-16. Once again, Burgess, a final over El Paso High, 61-42. We've got finals all over the city. We're going to take a break, come back with our final wrap-ups on our Boston's Pizza post-game report. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night as we wrap up the night. What a night for Week 9 of the high school football season. We've got all your final scores here, and actually one game still going on in 6A. El Dorado currently leads Socorro 38-34. That game in the fourth quarter, about 4 minutes to go or so. That was the late game at the Student Activities Complex. The early game, the shocker of the day, Coronado tops Americus 28-24. Also in 6A, Pebble Hills all over Franklin, 56-14. In our 915 Tours Game of the Week, Canutillo tops Chapin 21-14. What a big win for Canutillo, getting a late interception to seal the win there. Bel Air in overtime defeats Parkland 48-42. Noah Moreno had 7 touchdown passes, but Parkland fumbles the ball on their first possession of overtime, and that's her ball game. Bel Air wins it 48-42. Also in 5A, Del Valle defeats Hanks 48-16. Burgess tops El Paso High 61-42. Andress all over Jefferson 29-0. Isleta defeats Horizon 41-7. Austin High and Riverside battle it out, but it's the Rangers winning 29-20 over the Austin Panthers. Bowie Bears are now 7-1. Bowie defeats San Elizario 49-0. Down in 4A, Monahans all over Fabens 72-7. Pecos defeats Clint 27-21 in overtime, while Fort Stockton defeats Mountain View 38-21. In the Land of Enchantment, Roswell defeats Mayfield 48-15. Centennial defeats Alamogordo 42-21, while Hobbs takes care of Oregon Mountain 58-10. Gadsden improves to 7-2 with a 28-7 victory over Santa Teresa. Crane defeats Tornillo 73-0. Anthony falls to Sonora 60-26, and St. Michael's defeats Cathedral 34-18. And your 6A football scoreboard, Da Vinci defeats Emmanuel Christian 42-20. Let's head out to Joey Panisi, get a quick final wrap-up of Del Valle and Hanks. Joey.
Yes, closing the lights, it was 48 Del Valle, 16 for Hanks. Final stats, Del Valle, Jake Fetty lived up to his billing. The 6'2", 175-pound sophomore was 13 for 22, 329 yards, 5 TD passes, 1 running, gives him 33 touchdowns on the season. He has 10 running, 23 passing. Ryu Nunez, 3 catches, 3 TDs, 177 yards. John Estrada, 7 catches, 100 yards, 2 TDs. And Josiah Nunez, defensive back, a 42-yard pick six. Hanks, Jude Blanco, their star receiver, came to life in the second half. He had 7 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown, giving him 13 TDs on the year. And I have him for just under 1,300 yards unofficially on the year receiving. Michael Oliver, the workhorse, 25 carries, 121 yards, and 1 TD. Victor Gutierrez pitched in a 15-yard field goal for Hanks. Takeaways from the game, Del Valle has got to get healthy. Shelton Fuller, we're saying our prayers that he's okay. He didn't play at all the second half. Isaac Maltos, the defensive specialist, should be ready by the playoffs. Del Valle next week is at Isleta, and then they finish at home. Hanks needs to win out against Parkland and Bel Air. So from Conquistador Stadium, final score, Del Valle 48, Hanks 16.
All right, Joey, thank you very much. 48-16, Del Valle over Hanks.
And, Bo, this from the sack. Ryan Estrada just punched one in from a yard out. A little over 4 minutes left in that one in the Battle of the Winless. Yeah. And now El Dorado goes up to, what was it, 44?
45-35 now.
45-35. There
El Dorado. Both teams winless. El Dorado 0-7 on the year. Socorro 0-8 on the year. Tough seasons for El Dorado and Socorro. Let's head out to Riverfront Stadium. An exciting game between Riverside and Austin for our Boston's Pizza postgame report. Let's go out to J.D. Sursley. J.D.
Yeah, not a lot of scoring in the second half, but a lot of crazy momentum throughout, I guess. Riverside 29, Austin 20. Ruben Bastillos, number 20 running back for Austin Panthers, definitely the workhorse. 18 carries, 171 yards, 1 touchdown. Anakin Torres, he ends up with 162 through the air, with 37-yard touchdown to Matthew Felix during the game. On the opposite side, Riverside, of course, Derek Vasquez, always trucking and wheeling and dealing, 146 through the air. 59 for Noah Ramirez on the ground, and of course Carlos Rojas, the freshman, number 11 receiver sensation, 90 yards with a touchdown. At the end, that ended up getting that field goal for Diego Padilla. Austin just kind of like unraveled, even though they still had Riverside on the ropes, and the penalty yardage, the refs pretty much walked more than any Riverside yardage that was gained pretty much that drive just to lead up to that field goal. I talked to Coach Recorder just like I did last week. Last week he was, pumped, the next game, let's go to Austin. This game didn't go quite as planned, a lot more close than most people thought. He was grateful, pumped, red in the face, energetic, huffing and puffing. I felt his energy was awesome. He said the bye couldn't come in a better time, and then off to Bowie in 2 weeks. It's going to be a great game. But yeah, Riverside 29, Austin 20.
All right, J.D. Sursley, thank you very much. Big win for the Riverside Rangers, 29-20. Let's head out to R.R. Jones Stadium, get a wrap-up of Burgess beating El Paso High for their first win of the year. And let's hear from Bill Kuhn. Bill, take it away.
61-42 was the score, with Burgess getting their first win, and really keeps their playoff hopes alive as they have 2 more games going on for the season. Burgess finishes the night with 428 yards of offense, 324 rushing, and 104 passing. Of course, 213 of those rushing yards came from our buddy Caleb Hanna, all in the first half. He never saw the ball after that. They let him rest. El Paso High on the other side just could not get their offense or defense going. They ended up with a total of 145 total yards of offense. One of the bad things about El Paso High, Edgar Garcia, their tight end and their linebacker, came out late in the game and had his arm in a sling, right arm in the sling. So we'll have to watch next week, see what's going on with that injury there. Burgess has Andress and finish the season up with Jefferson, where El Paso High got to have it tough. Got to go to Chapin and Canutillo. So it's all over with here at R.R. Jones Stadium. It is Burgess 61, El Paso High 42.
And, Bo, I highly doubt that Burgess was resting Caleb Hanna after 2:34 in the first half. Something must have happened, got a little dinged up. But they were able to come with Luke Dexter Quinn. I told you he didn't play last week. It's good he was around because in the second half he's able to knock out a couple of TD runs of his own. And you heard Bill tell us that the Mustangs ran for more than 300 yards against that El Paso High defense. Huge win for the Mustangs. They have Andress left. Andress is gettable. We've talked about a lot of skill guys for Andress, but they're all really young. So, maybe the older guys will have a chance against the younger guys, the ones who are going to be good in another 3 years. And then, of course, Jefferson, which their defensive front seven is pretty good, but mostly everything else, D backfield, can't throw the ball. Yeah, Jefferson really struggling.
Very much so. Speaking of Jefferson, let's head out to Andress Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. The Eagles flew by the Silver Foxes tonight for that final Boston's Pizza postgame report. Let's go to Jerry Alvarez. Jerry.
It's all over here at Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. Andress defeats Jefferson 29-0. On the Jefferson side, Miguel Rubio, their workhorse, had 19 carries for 61 yards. Jefferson did have a couple of chances in the game to score inside the 20-yard line, but failed first in the first half to end the half of getting stopped at the 3-yard line. Second, late in the fourth quarter, they got a mud punt return fumbled by the punt returner from Andress and got it at the 19-yard line, but failed to convert on that one as well. Andress, on the other hand, although they had 10 penalties for 100 yards tonight, it did not slow them down. They distributed the ball well. Their leading rusher, Mikel Taylor, had 3 carries for 74 yards, one 54-yard run to set up a 6-yard touchdown by Marcus Wilson. Jaden Urbina, the quarterback, he had a hell of a night. He went 9 for 11 for 146 yards, had 2 touchdowns, one passing 44-yard to Eric Bolker, and a 1-yard TD QB sneak. The other score of the night was Jason Bothwell with a 4-yard run, followed up by a 2-point conversion by Eric Bolker. Andress improves to 3-5, 2-1 in district. Next week they travel over to Burgess, where Jefferson falls to 0-8, 0-3 in district, and they take a tough test next week against Canutillo at Canutillo. Once again, that's a final. Andress 29, Jefferson 0.
All right, Jerry Alvarez from Allen Sepkowitz Stadium. Jerry, great job out there. We'll see you at Boston's Pizza, home to our post-game report. Boston's Pizza is your go-to sports watching destination all season long. Stop by Boston's Pizza for football on Saturdays, NFL Sundays, UFC pay-per-view fights, all without ever having to pay a cover. Boston's Pizza is a family-friendly location on the west side, right in front of Topgolf. Learn more on social media by following BostonPizza.com. For our final post-game report and the best game of the night, the overtime win for Bel Air over Parkland. Let's go out to Adrian Tellis for our Boston's Pizza post-game report. Adrian.
It was fireworks out here in the Bull Ring in overtime with Bel Air coming out victorious 48-42. Some stats for the night. Noah Moreno finished the night tonight with going 29 for 37 with 345 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The player of the night has to be Oscar Martinez. 7 receptions, 172 yards for 4 touchdowns. Bel Air was able to total 430 yards total, 85 on the ground and 345 on the air. Now Bel Air is back on the win column. They'll be facing Horizon next week in another district showdown. For the Parkland Matadors, unfortunately, on the first play in overtime, Anthony Carrillo, who took a beating tonight, suffered an apparent ankle injury and a left calf injury, finished tonight with 17 carries for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the positive note, Anthony Carrillo has now rushed for over 1,000 yards for the 2023 football season. Eric Ortiz also took a beating tonight for the Matadors. He went 11 for 19 for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Another crucial moment was kicker Adrian Loya, who connected and hit on a 38-yard field goal that at one point gave the lead to Parkland when they went up 17-14. But boys, next week Parkland will be taking on the Hanks Knights and another 1-5A showdown. So your final from the Bull Ring in overtime. Bel Air wins it 48-42.
All right, Adrian, tell us, getting your money's worth tonight. Great job out there. Extra football in overtime, 48-42. Bel Air getting a big win, setting up a really fun showdown, potentially between Bel Air and Del Valle to end the season. And that's your Boston's Pizza post-game reports. We'll get to our Ignitify local scoreboard in just a little bit. Now to Paul McKinnon for our out-of-town scoreboard. Paul?
Ooh, you surprised me. So many other things going on. Yeah, let's get out to the Permian Basin and 2-6A football. You already heard this one. Friendship, which started the season 5-0, but hadn't won a game in district yet, got their first tonight at Ratliff Stadium, visiting the Mojo, 46-44. Friendship gets the win, moves to 1-2 in the district. Permian falls to 1-2. Remember, their other loss was to Odessa High. If Odessa High gets into these playoffs, man, they're really going to throw a wrench into this big school, small school stuff, because you know the Odessas are the highest attended schools. In fact, Odessa is the top attended school in that district. Permian comes in second. Permian would love second at the moment as they sink toward the bottom of District 2-6A. Elsewhere, Midland Legacy bounces back from a loss last week. 66-24 they handle San Angelo Central. Legacy moves to 2-1 in the district, 6-1 in the season. Central, they're going to be out of the playoffs this year. 0-3, 1-7. I mean, it's not official, just predicting. Elsewhere, Odessa High. They were undefeated in the district, but they ran into another undefeated, literally undefeated, 7-0 Midland, 2-0 in the district. Midland at Midland, 59-28 all over Odessa. They handled them easily. Midland is good. Remember when they beat Montwood week 1, 39-14, I think it was, and everyone was like, "What's wrong with Montwood?" You know, let's
Midland was good.
Let's go get Coach Famaligi back. No, Montwood is good. But Midland is pretty terrific as well as they've shown. Moved to 8-0, undefeated, first place in that district. District 2-5A, Division I, Lubbock Cooper gets a big victory, 48-27 over Lubbock Monterey. Moved to 3-1 in the district. Cooper's only lost to Abilene. Boy, how good Abilene's been this year. By the way, week 1, a win over Odessa Permian as well. Everybody's slapping Odessa Permian around. What's going on? This is not 20 years ago. Elsewhere, look who's coming back to life. Amarillo Tascosa, miserable. What were they? 1-4, I think, coming into district play. Now moved to 2-2 tonight, 3-5 on the season with the 63-24 wipeout of Caprock. And there's that aforementioned Abilene. They stay unbeaten in the district. 5-0, 7-2 on the season. Handle Lubbock Coronado in Lubbock, 63-10 to the 2-5A Division II now. Wichita Falls Rider had that big win over Abilene Wiley a week ago. They stay undefeated in the district with a 49-20 win over Amarillo Paladuro. Moved to 3-0 in the district, 6-0 on the season. Wiley, no Wiley Lubbock score, but I can predict Karnak, Wiley's going to come through that one. They'll move to 2-1, 5-3. Elsewhere, Abilene Cooper playing better of late all over Plainview, 28-7. Moved to 2-1 in the district. Plainview falls to 1-2. Mirror images of records. Plainview was 5-2. Abilene Cooper was 2-5. Tells you something about strength of schedule. Cooper all over Plainview. Down to 4A, Brownwood in a Thursday nighter. A battle of two really good teams, one-loss teams. Brownwood goes to Estacado and handles them. 35-14. Brownwood 3-0 in the district. 8-1 in the catbird seat with one game to play. Estacado falls to 1-1, 6-2 on the year. Another Thursday nighter. Big Spring all over Lakeview, 63-43 in a battle of winless teams in that district. A couple of more scores. West Plains, another Thursday nighter. This is 4A Division II. These are the teams that Clint and the Mountain Views of the world will be looking at. Perchance they get into the playoffs. West Plains, the class of that district, moves to 7-1 on the season, 2-0 in that district, 72-6 over Perryton. And finally, in another battle of, I don't know if you call it a battle when it's winless teams, but Leveland went to Borger. And last we checked, Leveland all over Borger. 21-3, Leveland looking to get their first win in the district, moved to 3-6 on the season. Borger, winless, falls to 3-5, and that for the night is your out-of-town scoreboard.
All right, let's get to our Ignitify local scoreboard before we pick our senior athlete of the night. Let's get to start with 6A. Earlier today, Coronado defeated Americus 28-24. Pebble Hills tops Franklin 56-14. El Dorado is currently defeating Socorro. Just a few seconds to go left in this one. 52-35 El Dorado over Socorro. Also Thursday night, Eastwood top Montwood 48-41. In 5A, our 915 Tours game of the week, Canutillo defeats Chapin 21-14. Bel Air over Parkland in double overtime, 48-42. Del Valle defeats Hanks, 48-16. Burgess defeats El Paso High, 61-42. Andrus defeats Jefferson, 29-0. Isleta defeats Horizon, 41-7. Down in 4A, Riverside tops Austin, 29-0. Bowie defeats San Elizario, 49-0. In private schools, St. Michael's defeats Cathedral 34-18. Sonora defeated Anthony 60-26. And Crane defeats Tornillo 73-0. Up to the land. Let's go 4A. Monahans over Fabens 72-7. Pecos defeats Clint in overtime 27-21. And Fort Stockton defeats Mountain View 38-21. Up in New Mexico, Centennial tops Alamogordo 42-21. Hobbs defeats Oregon Mountain 58-10. And Roswell defeats Mayfield 48-15. Elsewhere, Gadsden tops Santa Teresa 28-7, setting up a showdown for the district title next week. Gadsden and Deming at Panther Stadium. Hey, let's go now to our senior player of the game. I got to believe it's either one or two players from Bel Air. They're putting up the stats tonight.
Come on, there's no intrigue on this one. Oscar Martinez, throw the cramps for the sympathy factor. He keeps getting up off the turf, and just like Chris Carter, all he does is catch touchdowns. 4 of them tonight. Well, three that I guess that weren't, so technically 7 balls, 172 yards, including the game winner, a 25-yard TD catch in overtime, a fumble recovery on the first snap for Parkland, a play later. That settled it, but Oscar Martinez was huge tonight. I think without a doubt he's our senior player of the night, although I saw a couple of, in fact, a few pretty good ones last night at Montwood Eastwood. Michael Southern, the quarterback from Montwood, Max Mancia, the little scat back who went for over a couple 100 yards, and, of course, Evan Mijares, the quarterback who's terrific and had the 22-yard touchdown run as he sped down the right sidelines with about 4 minutes left to give Eastwood yet another close win as they stay undefeated atop District 16A.
Absolutely. Our player of the night brought to you by the Oscar Arrieta Agency. From a locally owned insurance agency, the Oscar Arrieta Agency is proud to serve El Paso. With 4 locations in town, their Oscar Arrieta Agency can help with your home, auto, and life insurance. Oscar Arrieta is the official insurance agent of the UTEP Miners. Visit Rise Up 915 to learn more about prizes and giveaways for the Oscar Arieta Agency. As we take a look now to Week 10, we have some fun games. Of course, in the Land of Enchantment, once again, Gadsden hosting Deming for that district title. Centennial and Las Cruces, that's going to be a fun one at the Field of Dreams. When you get down to El Paso, a big Thursday night game, Eastlake and Pebble Hills. That should be fun Thursday night at the Student Activities Complex. And then you get the Eastwood Troopers hosting the Franklin Cougars. Boy, the way Franklin's been playing, it could be a very tough night.
Yeah, coming off a home game tonight, a game you really needed to win if you want to be a playoff team this year, and they really got handled by a Pebble Hills team that's really playing as well as they've played all season long. And I guess the nice thing about going to Eastwood will find a way to maybe keep Franklin close, let them score a lot of points, and maybe it'll be a tie game in the fourth quarter, and then Eastwood will just take care of business like it seems like they've done every single week of this season, not counting when they went up to visit the Beast, South Lake Carroll, in Week 1. Ever since that, the Eastwood Troopers have been hell on wheels, best team in the city.
Absolutely. Some fun games out there. We'll see if the Hanks Knights and Parkland Matadors, see if the Matadors can bounce back from a very tough overtime loss tonight. Parkland hosts Hanks next week. A lot of lopsided games on paper, but should be a fun one between Bowie and Austin. See if the Bowie Bears are for real.
Game of the week?
I think
Possibly.
so. Another fun battle, Clint and Fabens. It's not for a district title, but a lot of bragging rights between those two teams and those two areas.
Clint, so close tonight, really to taking a major step, up 8 points with almost they took an 8-point lead with 10 minutes left. And Pecos, a TD and the 2-point conversion with, I believe it was 10 seconds left in the contest, gets them to overtime, and Pecos comes away with the 27-21 win. So you have a Clint team that was, on the precipice of really grabbing a playoff spot for themselves, and now really they're right back where they were a year ago, where they wound up in a 3-way tie for the final 2 playoff spots, and due to the point differential, Clint got kicked out of the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. The big game will be Mountain View and Pecos. This time Pecos comes to Mountain View. And everybody's got to win games and stuff. I'm not predicting. But
Yeah.
if it comes to another 3-way, if Mountain View beats Pecos the way they did a year ago, it could be Clint, watching as other teams go playoff bowling.
Very much so. Well, that does it for Football Friday Night, the Week 9 edition here on 600 ESPN El Paso. For our producer, Angel Munoz, the Sultan of Stats, Paul McKinnon, I'm Bo Bagley. Thank you for tuning in to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.